Welcome to Good Morning Kenya on this 13th day of October 2025. Where are you watching us from? It's a new week, a new day, a clean slate for you to start all over again. And we are here to make sure you do that in style. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwi. A lot has been prepared for you, so I implore you to tune in. Even as everything is happening, one thing that stands out really is the registration of voters that is being carried out by IEBC. As of Friday last week, over 20,000 people had registered. The official figures stand at 20,754. So there is room for improvement. Good morning, team. Victor and Vivian.
Good morning. V squared.
Oh yes,
V squared.
By the way, it's V squared.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it is.
But it's also M squared because there's Marie and there's Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's even.
But V sounds good, right?
Well,
really?
M sounds like
I know, right? A very good morning to each and every one of you who is tuned in on the show this beautiful Monday morning. And we have to give a round of applause to our rugby team, both the men's team and the women's team, because they did us proud. Let us clap for them. Let us clap for them. So the 2025 Safari Sevens champions are Kenya for the women and also for the men. That is the Lioness as well as the men's team as well. They did us so well as they got to be crowned. It's a beautiful time to be Kenyan, if I may say so. If we look at matters of sports, our sports men and women are really doing us proud each and every time, and we need to applaud them for that. Now, that aside, today being a Monday, you know that right here on the show we get to talk matters family, and this morning will be no different, as I will be tackling the topic on dealing with disappointments. That will be our conversation today. How do you go about dealing with disappointments? Are you the type to be really, annoyed by a disappointment that has come your way? Are you the type to shut down? Are you the type to soldier on? Or how do you deal with disappointments? I would love to get to hear from you so that I can also be able to understand how you go about dealing with disappointments. And joining me for that conversation will be one evangelist, Courage MB, who is from Kingdom Initiative and is also an author and a film director. We'll also be having Anthony Njenga, who's a psychologist, a mentor, and a mental health champion. And we'll also have in studio with us Might, who's also a mentor and the CEO, Pro Mentors Africa, and he is as well a trainer. And they will be here so that we can be able to look at ways to deal with disappointments without harming yourself. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. We'll be going in around 9 a.m. thereabout. So you need to keep it locked right here on Good Morning Kenya. Victor, a lot has happened in the political scene, some moves that we didn't even expect.
Absolutely. But again, one thing you have to understand is that the political game that we are experiencing in this country is one special one. It's not like any other country in the world where we only have a few parties. But what actually we are experiencing is unprecedented, because now when you talk of President William Ruto saying that he has had a conversation with former president, that is now, again, the latest one with Gideon Moi, we are seeing a place where, come 2027, either there'll be no more opposition or there will be a very weak opposition, so to speak. But who is looking for the numbers? The one who is eyeing the big prize. Even the opposition are also looking for the big top prize, and they also want numbers. But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. In politics, we all know. So goes the cliche that we have no permanent enemies, neither do we have permanent friends. We are likely to see what's going to happen again. We have by-elections coming up, remember? How it's going to pan out is going to shape the way elections is going to be quite while, to some extent, yes. Because a by-election is just a by-election. But come 2027, we are going to have got a lot of people who are going to have cups of coffee, friends meeting somewhere, underground meetings, some of them in some parking lots, in some secluded places, in I don't know where. So let's wait and see. Welcome to the program. My name is Victor. We are going to be talking about that and much more, what is going to be happening. But Mike, you love quotes. Let me tell you something. Please work hard until you make onions cry.
Wow. Where did that come from?
That is the quote of the day.
Work hard
until you make onions cry. Do you have another quote?
Well, I have another quote here.
Watch here, you near tomorrow. Marie, how are you?
I'm well. That one must be something that Victor has cooked.
Wallahi.
No, that is,
Never heard of that. Onions are supposed to make us cry, or until onions cry.
So I got to deal to make them cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work hard until you make onions cry.
Trust Victor to come up with those kind of quotes. But a very good morning from wherever you're watching us. My name is Maria. I just wade into, because of personal interest. Can I put it that way, Mike, Victor, Vivian? Personal interests.
Yes.
I'm a rugby fan player by extension. So my son was playing. Yes, so by extension, we won.
Oh, that's nice. Congratulations to him.
Very nice.
And by the way, Marie, let's not forget that also Kipyegon won on weekend in New York.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it feel, Marie?
On Friday. It feels good, by the way. It feels good. The only thing is that I don't get to watch him much when he plays. For some reason, he likes when there's no much pressure, because my presence there is also another pressure to perform. But it feels good to, can I say, have a rugby player or a sports person in the family.
Yeah, a champion in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but they work very hard, let me tell you. I know what that boy goes through when they're preparing and all that. But congratulations to all of them for the work they've done, and just, putting Kenya's name up there in as far as sports is concerned. So away from that, we'll be looking at news, and definitely a lot happening as far as the news is concerned. And one of them, we begin with a story from Mombasa, and that was a tragic story where one body has been retrieved from the Indian Ocean waters following Friday's boat incident in Chuda, that is Mombasa, during a water sporting event. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, who toured the scene of the accident, pledged government support to the affected families and psychosocial support to 19 other survivors of the incident. Let's get more from Mombasa.
These were the scenes at the Chuda water spot where the incident happened. Families continue to camp at the venue as divers search for 2 more missing persons. Deputy President Kindiki Kithure toured the scene of the accident after attending a women and youth empowerment meeting in Nyali. Here, the DP pledged government support to the affected families, even as he hailed the first responders to the accident scene.
Nataka nichukue fursa hii kwa njia ya kipekee nishukuru wale ambao walihusika katika kuokoa maisha siku ile ya mkasa, siku ya Jumaa alasiri. Wale haikukuwa hivyo, ilikuwa tofauti. Mwananchi mmoja akuja hapa nieleze kulikuwa aje.
Ni bahati, ni Mwenyezi Mungu niko hapa leo. Manake nilisurvive. Wale tulikuwa pale tulitarajia usalama wetu utaangaliwa, lakini tuliachwa hoi.
The Deputy President confirmed one body had been retrieved, and such efforts for the remaining duo who are still missing were ongoing. Kindiki noted that the national and county government will cater for the funeral expenses of the deceased.
Serikali ya kitaifa na serikali ya county zitashirikiana. Already tumepata mwili mmoja uko pale kwa boti, na tumewaambia wale ambao wanahusika wahakikisha kwamba usiku ya leo waendelee na hiyo kazi, ndio tupate kufunga huo ukurasa kwa njia ya heshima.
Mombasa Governor Abdulswamad Nasir and Jomvu MP Badi Twalib, who accompanied the DP, continued to appeal for patience as the divers led by the Kenya Navy continue to scout for the duo.
Nitahakikisha kupitia serikali kuu kama walivyoniahidi kwa tutaweza kusimamia mazishi ya hawa wote ambao wamefariki ili kuondoa mzigo mzito katika familia yao.
Wakati tuko hapa tunaanza kunyosha vidole, kuna ndugu zetu lazima tuweze kuweka mbele za haki.
This as pressure is mounting for the organizer of the event to be arrested.
Thank you, Anne Buru, for that report. Of course, we keep tabs on that particular story, and my colleague from Mombasa will definitely be bringing us up to speed with what is happening, because remember, only one body has been retrieved, 2 are still missing. Away from that is that President William Ruto has said that Kenya will transition from a third world to a first world nation within the next 30 years. Speaking during the 70th anniversary of the African Inland Church Ziwani in Starehe Boys, Nairobi County, Ruto stated that his administration has laid the foundation to achieve this status in the year 2055. He, at the same time, noted that he has shared this vision with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, ODM leader Raila Odinga, and KANU chairman Gideon Moi, who recently joined the broad-based government. Here is our reporter Abdiaziz Hashim with the details.
President William Ruto, alongside a host of Kenya Kwanza leaders, attended the 70th anniversary of the African Inland Church Ziwani in Nairobi County.
Rafiki yangu wewe.
It is here the head of state revealed that the country will join the League of the First World Countries in the next 3 decades.
We have the ideas, we have the knowledge, we have the plan, we have the people, and we have the resources to move this country from a third world country to a first world country in our lifetime by 2055.
Ruto said that Kenya has been categorized as a developing country for a long time, and his administration is determined to change that through unity and hard work.
I have had a conversation with our former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. I have engaged my brother, former President Uhuru Kenyatta, on how we are going to move this country from a third world country to a first world country. I have engaged many, including Gideon Moi recently.
He emphasized that the government has a clear vision and plan to transform the economy and improve livelihoods across the country.
Tuko na manabii wengi wa uongo. Wakati tulisema tutajenga manyumba, walisema haiwezekani. Wakati tulisema tutakuwa universal health coverage, walisema haiwezekani. Wakati tulisema ya kwamba tutaajiri walimu zaidi na kubadilisha mfumo wetu wa elimu, walisema haiwezekani.
He at the same time announced a new partnership between the national government and the Nairobi City County aimed at tackling the capital's persistent garbage and waste management challenges.
Hapa Nairobi, saa hizi mjengo wa manyumba 93,000 housing units are going on in Nairobi alone.
Coffee ya launch of the Archdiocese of Nairobi.
Ruto also joined African Independent Pentecostal Church of Kenya service, where 2027 politics took center stage.
Kwa hivyo, Your Excellency, pambana na hiyo hari kabisa, and we know you are up to the task. Hata mawimbi yakikuwa mengi namna hii, unajua hii Kenya hiwezi fika mahali unataka ifike kama hakuna mtu kama wewe ambaye anajua kwenye anataka kupeleka nchi yetu.
That as the President of the Republic of Kenya, please step in to help us resolve the health crisis that is there in Kiambu.
At this event, he revealed that 100,000 youth aged between 19 to 29 will be interviewed on Monday for the Nyota program, with an allocation of 5 billion shillings set to be dispersed to them for economic empowerment.
Abdiaziz Hashim reporting there. A bit of political stories where political drumbeats continued into Sunday, with opposition leaders alleging a plot by IBC to register non-citizens during the ongoing voter registration. According to the leaders, the move is aimed at manipulating the outcome of the 2027 general elections. Meanwhile, Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has lashed out at the opposition for allegedly undermining and vilifying elected leaders during a rally held in Embu on Sunday. Here are the details of the political power plays as the mini polls inch closer.
Sunday service at the Ambassadors for Christ Church in Kirinyaga County. Opposition leaders joined the Christian faithful for prayers a day after drumming up support for their candidate in the Mbeere North parliamentary by-election. Here they revisited their assertions of a conspiracy by IEBC to manipulate the polls.
Warundi wanachukua kura Nairobi. Waganda wanachukua kura Nairobi. Wa Ethiopia wanachukua kura even in Nairobi. I've got this message from a whistleblower called Nyakera. He just sent it to us.
They called on the commission to ensure a credible electoral process in 2027 and disclose details of the ongoing voter registration exercise.
We have nothing against United Nations Convention in support of refugees. But refugees should remain refugees. They should not become Kenyans. So we are tutaweka macho.
And the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, speaking in Embu, accused the government of neglecting rice farmers. His remarks on Saturday criticizing Embu and Kirinyaga governors over their political stand also sparked debate.
We must remain united as a people. Na ndio ninaambiwa jana usikue mkali sana kwa viongozi ya kina mama. Hata hao wasikue wakali kwetu.
Public Service CS Geoffrey Ruku faulted the remarks, accusing Gachagua of misrepresenting government development efforts and vilifying elected leaders.
Na wamahali wanatusi serikali na viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa, nyuma yake kuna mradi ya serikali ya soko kubwa ambao serikali Mheshimiwa Rais amejengea watu ya makutano. You can't be an elected member of parliament. Unaingia kwa constituency nyingine, unachukua mawe, munakimbizana na watu.
Elsewhere, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has expressed confidence in President William Ruto's political strategy, saying his efforts to unite leaders enhances his re-election bid. Mudavadi was speaking during campaigns for the UDA candidate in the Malava constituency by-election, where he revisited calls for Luhya unity.
Tusibahatishe tena kwa sababu Mheshimiwa William Ruto atakuwa mshindi, na saa hii sitaki tuwe nusu-nusu vile wenzetu wamesema hapa.
Tunatembea pamoja tukisema jamii yetu iwe kitu kimoja. Jamii, mtatusaidia jamii yetu iwe kitu kimoja. Tuachane na wale wapinzani ambao hawana sera, hawana agenda kwa ajili ya nchi hii.
Daddy, umekasirisha ma.
Ni mimi mlikuwa mnaongelelea? Endeleeni.
Angalia bwana Andrew amesema.
Wewe ni daktari.
Hasa ukiulizwa unafanya nini pale utasema nini?
Sio mambo tulimalizana.
Silobudi ubidi.
Toka kwa nyumba yangu.
Ni nini shida yao Gen Z? Mimi sitakujua penye pesa itatoka.
Usimfuate mke wangu sasa.
Nani yako hapo?
Oh my God.
1 point separates the top two in
Michuano ya kufuzu kwa kombe la dunia mwakani 2026 yanafikia tamati mwezi huu wa Oktoba. Je, vijana wa Cote d'Ivoire watawezana na Harambee Stars? Usingoje kuambiwa. Tazama mechi hii live hapa KBC Channel 1 siku ya Jumanne tarehe 14 Oktoba kuanzia saa 4 usiku. Ujue mbivu na mbichi. Pia tutapeperusha matangazo haya kupitia Radio Taifa na stesheni zingine za KBC. Usikose. KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa 30 michezoni.
Welcome back. We do apologize for that sound problem, but it has been sorted. So we move on with the news where human rights activist and presidential hopeful Boniface Mwangi has raised an alarm over what he describes as escalating threats to his life, allegedly orchestrated by state agents. Mwangi, who has been a vocal critic of the government excesses, claims his recent experience at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport exposed a new level of intimidation after he allegedly found a blank cartridge planted in his luggage moments before flight. Mwangi says the incident is the latest in a series of targeted attacks meant to silence dissenting voices, even as he vows not to back down from his political ambitions.
Defendant presidential aspirant Boniface Mwangi alleges that on October 9th, while departing for Kilifi, a bullet casing was planted inside his suitcase after routine security screening at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
And on my way to board the plane, my bag was taken away by an airline attendant. I gave them my bag and they gave me a luggage slip. I got into the flight, and upon reaching to Malindi, I retrieved my bag. On my way to my hotel, I decided to remove a power bank from my suitcase. And when I opened my suitcase, in between the shots that had been packed by my daughter, I found a bullet casing.
Mwangi, who says he fears for his life, has linked the incident to what he terms a wider campaign of harassment and intimidation by security agencies, accusing the state of using arrests, cyber trolling and surveillance to silence activism.
This was put between the time I gave my attendant the bag and the time I got to Malindi, because I packed my own bag. I passed through the screening at JKI. The first screening, there was a scanner, and the second there was a scanner, and I did not have this in my bag.
The activist, who has faced multiple arrests in recent years, says the persecution intensified after he participated in last year's Gen Z protests and his announcement to seek the presidency.
I was planning to go to Kilifi police station and report the matter. Then I was advised not to do that because I'm currently facing up trumped up charges of ammunition possession, and going to the police station would have meant that I would be arrested for the police to investigate. Like most Kenyans, I do not trust the police.
As these lawyers, we are going to determine the correct thing to do, because now the matter is public, and we will wait also to see the response from the government.
Human rights organizations are now calling for an independent investigation into Mwangi's claims, warning that the pattern of harassment against activists undermines the rule of law.
We shall not remain silent. We shall not remain quiet when these atrocities continue to be committed. We have seen how activists have been targeted, how opposition politicians have been targeted.
The government is here to issue an official response to the claims.
We look at sports now, where Shujaa and Kenya Lionesses are the winners of the 2025 men's and women's title at this year's Safari Sevens. The event took place from Friday till Sunday at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi.
The Safari Sevens made a return to the Nyayo National Stadium after 13 years and featured 12 men's sides and 7 women's sides after Belgium withdrew following the death of their assistant coach Warren Abrahams on Friday. Kenya's men's team Shujaa retained the Robin Cahill Trophy with a come-from-behind 14-7 win over Spanish side Shogun. The Spaniards went ahead from a converted try by Anton Legorburu, with Nigel Amaita and Floyd Wabwire replying for Shujaa, who retained the title they won last year in Machakos.
Probably a shaky start in the final, but the composure, that's what we need as we start preparing for a journey to get back to the series.
It was just like a preparation towards because this is actually our first game since last season. So we wanted to use it as our stepping stone towards the other tournaments coming ahead.
The second Kenyan side, Morans, finished third after 19-10 win over Zimbabwe.
That was the main aim of the Morans team coming into the Safari Sevens. I think the coaches are trying to look at a few talents that they can bring into the Shujaa squad. So a lot of us were working for a lot of the boys are working for the slots at the Shujaa team.
The women's side, Kenya Lioness, were victorious after they beat Uganda 14-10 in the women's final. It was a relief for the Lioness, who had lost the finals in the 2 previous editions.
And last year, but won against Uganda. So we are very happy and proud of the girls. I'm so proud of the girls because they decided to leave this cup here at home, and we've done it.
Congratulations to the Kenyan teams for winning the Safari Sevens 2025. Let's move on, where the Kenya national men hockey team lost their second match 3-1 to South Africa at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations ongoing in Ismailia. Kenya had lost 2-1 to Egypt in their opening match last night, just hours after their women counterparts defeated Nigeria 1-0 in their opening game. The Kenya men started well against the hosts and went ahead in the 39th minute through Bethwell Masambo. That lead only lasted 3 minutes, that is, before the hosts got back into the game, equalizing through Ragab Hosman. 8 minutes later, Ragab Mustafa netted a second for the hosts, who began the continental competition with a hard-fought win on home soil. Next, Kenya is facing Ghana on Tuesday before facing Nigeria and Zambia in other round of the matches. Well, that's where we bring the news to a close this morning. Thank you, as always, for your time and your company. My name is Maria. But before we go, Victor, you asked me a question. How does it feel when you have one of your children, can I put it that way?
Absolutely.
Playing at the almost an international level, or Shujaa is not international? More or less, isn't it?
Yes.
But one thing I must say is that I'm grateful for identifying, can I put it that way, that talent early enough and encourage this. So what I wanted to say is that I think it's important to encourage children to pursue their talent. Because I always say that talent can take you where sometimes academic cannot take you. I don't know what you think.
Well, absolutely. Talent is, it's one of those gifts that God gave each and every person. And talk about talent and gifts, it's part of the CBC. We are just trying to make it more educational. But I think we are happy that the Lioness and the boys did their best. And yes, they are going to do even much better in the coming leagues. So we are taking a very quick break, Marie. And when we come back, my guest already in studio. I have Mheshimiwa Pitorero, Member of Parliament, Kibra constituency, already on set. And also Odoyo Wede, who is a political analyst. All of them are here, as you can see, ready to hit the road running, and expecting Dr. Evelyn Ogendo, who is also a political analyst, to join us shortly, and we'll be starting that discussion in not too long. So stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to get into the political scene and talk about what's happening in the political arena. A lot is happening in the country. And Ajiri, I want to just take a back in what is happening across the country, of course, across our borders, just to analyze what is the political and the current affairs in the country is all happening. I'm going to introduce my guest once again. I have Mwalimu Mheshimiwa Peter Orero, who is Member of Parliament of Kibra constituency, joining me on set. All right, that is up there. Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Morning, and thank you for inviting me again today.
Karibu sana.
Yes.
And also, Mwalimu, Peter, I always call you Peter Doyoidi.
No, I'm Odoyoidi.
You're Odoyoidi. Of course, you understand why I always call you Peter.
I do know.
All right.
Yes.
Odoyoidi is also a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us as well. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
And expecting Dr. Evelyn Ogendo, who is a political analyst, to join us shortly, but we have to put this on the road, starting with the front page of Local Daily. Let me start with you, Mheshimiwa Peter. What do you have on the front page of The Standard? If you can just raise it, you have The Standard newspaper with you there.
Release them.
Yes, you can just show it to the camera. There you go, release them. That is on the front page of The Standard newspaper in regards to the two Kenyans who are abducted in Uganda.
Yes.
You can give us a quick read there.
For nearly 2 weeks, the families of activists Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo have endured tormenting silence after the abduction in Uganda. With both Kenyan and Uganda governments offering little clarity, fears are mounting that the two Free Kenya movement leaders are being held incommunicado by Ugandan security forces. Their disappearance has sparked outrage among civil society groups who see it as part of growing pattern of cross-border repression in East Africa.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first time that this is happening. We also faced this, perhaps the same thing not too long ago in Tanzania.
Yeah, when we had Boniface and Mwangi, and we also had, that is the time even people like Martha Karua were denied entry in Tanzania. But all this, if you look at them, they have happened when we have the political atmosphere in those countries is quite fluid. Uganda, you know, they want to go for election.
Yes.
And from the look of things...
Tanzania as well.
Tanzania as well.
Yeah.
From the look of things, like in Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, I think is going to try his last luck for presidency. The way I've seen him talking, I think he's going to contest again as the president of NRA in Uganda. And you know, Bobby Wine is a contestant and is using his age to woo the... Here in Kenya, we call them the Gen Zs. I don't know whether in Uganda they also call them the same. He's trying to the youths and other people on his side. And Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, I think we're going to campaign for the opponent of the current president of Uganda. Many people do not know that in East Africa, I think Kenya is the most democratic country. Uganda has not come out of that cocoon of military rule. You know how Museveni came into power. Maybe you were still young. He used to operate even from Kenya here, and he took power through the military pathway. And I think he has not let that go. He has not released the people of Uganda to the democratic world. I think he's still using his power as a military person to rule the Uganda way. And I think some of these two Kenyans found themselves in the mix of the political situation in Uganda. I think they did not know that Uganda is a military state and almost a military state.
But that also creates that picture of the relationship between Kenya and our neighbors. When two Kenyans are abducted, 2 weeks later, we've not had any official communication from the Kenyan government.
I think the Prime Cabinet Secretary, who sometimes handles the foreign docket, needs to come out very, very clearly and tell Kenyans surely where is the fate and where are these Kenyans. Because when we are out of this country, now we need the Kenyan government to take care of us, the foreign countries to take care of us, even if it is one person. We can never, as a country, accept that we lose one person in a foreign country. In fact, the parents of these people and their families are really wondering what the Kenyan government is doing to ensure that these two young men are brought back to Kenya. But I think they are captives, and maybe we need the involvement of our state to try and exercise their powers and see whether these young men can be released to come back to Kenya and serve as in Kenya.
All right, Mwalimu, when you look at the whole scenario, again, based on the front page of the Standard, again, it paints a very grim picture between the relationship between us and our neighbors, and having in mind that Kenya doesn't have any history of abduction of foreign nationals this too long. Yes, we've had such kind of scenarios, but in a span of 3-4 months, Kenyans getting abducted and held incommunicado, now in Uganda, the last one was in Tanzania.
I think I want to, before I blame the Kenyans, I also want to say it is unfortunate, it is wrong for anybody to be arrested and held incommunicado anywhere, not only in Uganda, but even within Kenya or Tanzania. It is not acceptable because people are supposed to be arrested and taken to court. And this is the first time I can consider what you are saying as an abduction, an abduction. Because somebody who is held, not produced in court, not shown in any police station, that is a true abduction. But I think we Kenyans also must learn that we are an island of democracy, we are an island of peace, and we are an island of the rule of law within the region where we find ourselves in. So if we take our freedom across the borders, we are most likely going to run into problems like the way my brothers have run into. We must appreciate that Uganda has had one president for a very long time. Not only he himself and his operatives, they are also supporters that he does not even command. There was a time here when President Uhuru Kenyatta became the president, and some people were trying to protest. And his supporters actually drove cars through the protesters. I do not blame Uhuru very much for it, because he definitely did not order those people to do that. Supporters of a sitting president can easily abduct people even without instructions. But it is the government to find out who are the abductors and where are the abductees. That is what should happen. So with that, there should be collaboration between Kenya and Uganda in the finding of these two Kenyans. But nevertheless, there are two ways of doing this. If you want to go the political way or the diplomatic way. The diplomatic way will involve quiet diplomacy between Kenya and Uganda into finding these people. But the country needs an official statement on where these Kenyans are. As much as we want to blame them for taking the freedom in Kenya across the borders.
Okay. What do you have on the front page of the Daily Nation?
The Daily Nation says, from hustlers to dynasties.
Very good. Forming a part of the big debate right now, from hustlers to dynasties. It takes us back to 2022, general election. Even before 2022 general election, that's around 2021, they're about the hustlers and the dynasties, the hustlers, and, you know, the whole story is now coming back to haunt us one more time, but this time around from the doorstep of the executive. What do you make of this, based on what the developments that we've seen in the recent past, and the president still saying that he's going to woo more people to join him?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
You know what happens in politics? You coin a narrative depending on the circumstances you find yourselves in. In the last general election, President William Ruto found himself against actually the dynasties. You saw a very trending photo of President Uhuru Kenyatta, a former President Moi's son, Gideon Moi, were all ganged up against President William Ruto, including Jaramogi's son, Raila Odinga. So that is why he said, now, let me go back to the people, tell the people I am up against the dynasties. You know, the people are very easy to control. Show them a giant enemy and then they will follow you. And be the savior that is going to save them from that giant enemy. Anything where you want to capture people to follow you endlessly, you must show them an enemy. Even if it is religion, you must show them an enemy. Even if it is politics, you must show them an enemy. That enemy is the one you're saying every day and you purport to protect them from. So President William Ruto came believing and telling the people that I am going to protect you from the dynasties that has brought Kenya to its knees over the years. Currently, he now finds himself in a position in which the person who is now going against is no longer a dynasty. So he must pull the dynasties to his side to help him fight the new enemy on the block. But every contest, political, social, or religious, there has to be a dynasty. There's no religion with no Satan. Satan has to be there as the object of hate. And then that of hope. And then the Messiah, which is you, delivering people from the object of hate to the one of hope. That is how it is done. I know you come from a constituency that is having a by-election now called Kasipul.
Yes.
And you had the ODM narrative there currently. They have started saying that this war is no longer our war. This is war between us and them. And that them, according to them now, is the opposition in Kenya. Because they have to find a narrative of an enemy against us. So this is what you do in politics.
That is what you do in politics. Is it so, Mheshimiwa?
My friend here, I think he deserves being called a political analyst. One is saying that you must identify the problem and the opponent, and the enemy that you are fighting. But generally, sometimes also in politics, you go by what the people also want, the narrative that is interesting to the ears of the people. And also you must study who are your constituents, who are the people that you are serving. And as a nation, you see, we are still a third world country, and most of the people in this country live within their earnings. They earn $1 in a day. And when you talk to them that you are going to rescue them from those who have and those who do not have, definitely they will take your plea. And I think the dynasty, it was sad that this politics came to that level where you could consider people as dynasties and not dynasties. Dynasty means those who have, and then others, those who do not have. So we say that the haves and the have-nots. And we don't need a country like that. Our country needs to be a unified country, a country that can talk to each other, where people can talk to each other. But I also think is that because we have many tribes in this country, and people can use also that to bring the political platform that he wants to use. But I believe that the dynasties and versus the hustlers, that narrative now is a cropper. It will not exist anymore when you look at this headline. And the people who are said to belong to the dynasty are those who have ruled this country. And sometimes it is not by design that you are born in those families. Also, some people come out of those families, and yet they are true Kenyans by nature. That is, they speak the mind, and they are also suffering just like other Kenyans. So there are people who have been called, say that they are from dynasty, but they are suffering just like other Kenyans. So I think we need to have a country where people are treated equally, and where people do not categorize others as dynasties and the hustlers. So that whatever political inclination that we are going to have in the future does not bring a bridge between these two groups.
Allow me to ask this question to all of you. How will this change the political ecosystem? Because now bringing Gideon Moi into the fold, and of course the president said that it's all for the best interest of this country. But how is it going to change the political ecosystem? Walimu?
one thing we need to understand that these people that we once called dynasties have a very large following within their communities. And if the president would be able to get all of them, or at least majority of them, it's game shot. Some of these things that we have been running around with the Gen Zs versus the government is not going to go far. Every community has its own Gen Zs, and they are more loyal to their community than their age group. So if we start thinking of going with the Gen Zs, we are not going to go very far. These Gen Zs are people who entirely depend on their parents or on the older adults in society. And actually, from where I sit, even the pricing of Gen Zs that took place from 2024, it was instigated, it was sponsored, it was driven by non-Gen Zs. Because I used to listen on a daily basis as senior politicians address Gen Zs on social media on a daily basis. So when that one dies down, like it has died now, it is no longer fashionable to run around talking Gen Zs here and there. People are going to go back to their tribal cocoons. People are going to go back to their personal interest to get who is going to govern them going forward. That is why you've seen when the president began visiting Homa Bay and the rest of Nyanza, the Gen Zs in those areas stopped this other idea. Because even when you ask them, how did you get into this idea of Gen Zs? Because we saw it on TV, because we heard it on radio, that Gen Zs are uprising against the government because of 1, 2, 3, and we joined in. But they have no idea who began all this. So I think what the president has done is going to be a bombshell to those people who thought it would be very easy to deal with him in the last general election.
Okay.
It's not going to be easy anymore.
All right. Mheshimiwa.
I think why people become president is not by default. When you look at those people who have become president in this country, you must have certain traits that some people do not have. Where His Excellency Ruto is now, he has survived and worked under all the presidents, except maybe the first president, that is Kenyatta, when he was still young. But when you look at his ideology and philosophy, he's combining those for the president, President Moi, whom he worked with very, very closely. He was in YK. Then he worked also with President Kibaki. He also now ran as a vice president for Uhuru. And initially, he was working very closely with the Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga. So he has learned all the techniques of these people and is now bringing them together and using them to fullest. He knows what this country requires, the kind of political climate that we are in, because he has been there before. So what he is trying to do is trying to make sure that the people, they speak the same language. The people who can bring this country together are those people, because they have a following from their political basis. They have a following. It surprised so many people. In fact, I have a colleague that we were with outside this country, and who comes, we were with him in Finland, and he comes from Baringo. And he had hinted to me that Gideon was popular there. And he was expecting that maybe he was going to be the senator. And all of a sudden, then the president pulls a card that nobody ever knew he would pull, because everybody thought that the son of the former president and the current president were not seeing eye to eye. So when he pulled that card, then he caught everybody off guard. Nobody expected that Gideon would not present his papers. And I can tell you that because he has the liberty to get all the intelligence in this country and looks at them, I think he's wisely using that to bring his government into a comfort zone. And not just that, it came into my mind that the elections are just 2 years to come. Initially, people thought that IBC would not be constituted, and they were not seeing how these elections will be done. Immediately, this IBC was constituted. I think this is a rehearsal to His Excellency and the party itself, the ruling party, to see what will happen in 2027. So he is putting everything, he's not stopping at anything, to ensure that this rehearsal for the next election succeeds. So if they want to see whether they will be able to put certain candidates who will win in these by-elections, and they will use this platform now in the future to show the people that their ruling party is still popular. So I think he's stopping at nothing to ensure that they win.
What if Gideon Moi went to the wire for the senatorial seat?
Of course, your guess is as good as mine. Because the president really, yes, if he was not popular, the president really would not go at that length to win. But again, it is about the unity of the Rift Valley. I think he wants to show the world that really Rift Valley is coming as a united front in 2027. He's not leaving anybody out of his bandwagon. He's bringing everybody. So I think he wants to show that he doesn't want divisions within the Rift Valley, because maybe it was going to be murky. Gideon has means, and that campaign was going to be closely contested. And you remember the candidate there, the people who are behind that candidate, really, yes. I saw Murkomen is behind that candidate, and you know how he is now in this country. I think even Sudi is behind him. And of course, the whole government is behind that candidate. So it was going to be a bruising battle. And we do not know how many scars would be left if Gideon were to stand. So to avoid getting bruised in a battle that you can win easily, then he had to go for Gideon.
An interesting oversight there.
Victor, let me say something about what the president has pulled. Its immediate effect, very visible from far, is now the change of tune even in the opposition, because you have heard now Rigathi Gachagua is no longer saying he's the best candidate. He's begun to say that he may support Kalonzo and campaign for him as hard as he did for President William Ruto, knowing that if Gideon Moi could join President William Ruto, it is possible that Kalonzo too would join and he would be isolated. So I think instead of getting isolated, probably he would rather join the winning team. But also, nevertheless, the country must also learn from what President William Ruto has done. Because I was sitting back and imagining, would Raila Odinga have embraced Dalmas Otieno before his death? Because those are his local enemies, are the most bitter enemies. Local, within community. So people had believed that the enmity between President William Ruto and Gideon Moi was so bitter that they would come together. You remember when the former President Daniel Arap Moi died, President William Ruto was not treated well then as DP at his funeral. In fact, there's a day he went there to see the president in a chopper, and he was turned back that the president was not in a state that he could see him. So I think those ones ringing back in his mind and people's mind, they thought that President William Ruto would not embrace Gideon Moi. In any case, within the Rift Valley, even though people are suggesting that Gideon Moi would have won, I'm sure if the president would want to put his arsenal, his resources, his people, it could have been very difficult. It would be a victory, though Pyrrhic in nature, a victory you achieve after spending a lot of resources, but he could use that to subdue. I remember there was a time we had a by-election in Homa Bay after the death of Otieno Kajwang. ODM literally camped there with Raila Odinga also coming there and sleeping in Homa Bay just to deliver that victory. When the easier option was to negotiate it the way President William Ruto has negotiated with the
So there's no problem with whatever is happening?
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Evelyn Ogendo, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Why were you not driving on the wrong side to make it here on time?
I'm sorry. Please just don't add into my issues of today.
You ought to have,
will apologize.
No.
When the time comes.
You know, he had noticed that she had issues. So a little laugh and a smile. You know, now she's now okay like us.
She's now okay. You'd have, you know what I'm talking about.
Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Karibu sana.
but I really apologize for my delay.
No problem. Karibu sana. We are just on the road with it. Before we take a break, I mean, the whole political scenario, what we are experiencing in the country, if it's time to woo, yes, but is it going to change the entire perception of that voter? Because they would say that Senator Gideon Moi has just one vote, but now the entire local area, the Kalenjin land, the Baringo, is it going to change something?
Greatly, it is really going to change a great deal of. You see, politics, Victor, ideally is local. Politics, by all means, does not matter how you look at it. It is local. Look at any popular politician today.
Yeah.
There's no politician who is very popular who has not begun from the ground, from the grassroots, where he or she comes from. So if you do not have a goodwill from your own people, and what the president did with the Gideon negotiation, I think when you are united, it is better than when you are not. And you realize at the end of the day, when you are receiving blows, right, left, and center, and like Mheshimiwa has rightfully said, you see the restlessness in the official opposition. You know, it's like it's a disruptive, politics and the politicians really twist even the voter. They don't know how, but what I have learned about politics, anything is possible. Who knew Raila Amolo Odinga would be with Ruto? Me, I think I will expect anything. I would expect even Wamnyoro, the former deputy president, to someday again sit with the president. I don't want to sit here and start saying, this is over with this. In the political arena, I really don't want to say that, because now it has brought out so rightfully that in politics, there are no permanent enemies or permanent friends.
Yeah.
But if you're going to win in any seat, it has to be local. It has to start from home. And I think anybody has a winning matrix. Anybody wants to come up with a winning matrix. And I think that is one of the president's matrix. And I wouldn't say it is going to work, but you see the way it has twisted, even the official position.
Yeah.
They are so restless. You see, now the story is beginning to change. First, they were edging out. The official position also began to confuse themselves at some point, because they edged out Dr. Matiang'i, they edged him out, and then I think it was to be an easier way of bringing their staff so that they can come together, because Wamnyoro ideally said, he's going to be the presidential candidate. Now he's changing that. It's changing that tone. And then secondly, and then the big question in the Kenyans' head that it does not come out, is he eligible to be in the ballot following the impeachment, or what is going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to take a break, but before that, just a quick one. Do you think it's going to have any effect?
A big one. It has actually weakened the official opposition, and it's unless they also apply other...
How? Official? How? In what way?
You see, when you are destabilized, you know, when you come out firmly and then you say you want to be president.
Yes.
Are you seeing? And then in between, you are changing the narrative. Why are you changing the narrative? Because you have realized there are barriers. They have seen barriers. I may not see the barriers right now. We may not see the barriers right now, because it's almost 2 years to the election. But clearly, when you say this, you say that, you say this, you say this, it means there's a problem that has not clearly come out. And when you have that problem, what that means, you're also threatened for you to keep changing, tossing from one idea to the next idea, one affirmation to the next affirmation. I am going to do this. You see, the other day I saw Nyoro was talking about, stop buying those houses. We are going to buy them when we get into power. You know, that was an affirmative, you know, it's like we're sure of this thing. Then that narrative changes. Do you know what you're really talking about?
That's politics. Let's take a break. I want to serve you tea. It's break time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza thamana hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima Kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafeed nchi, tunafeed watoto wetu na tunafeed Europa na tunaweka pesa mfukoni.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
All right, welcome back. We all have our cups of coffee. Gentlemen and lady, let's enjoy as we do this. All right, so let's come back to the discussion. Mwalimu Peter, Mheshimiwa Peter, yes. You know, when it comes to politics again, the whole scenario is going to play out come 2027. You said this is but a rehearsal. IBC is now in place, full house, and the by-election coming up was going to be a litmus test for president in his backyard. We can conclude that it was going to be difficult for the ruling party to clinch that seat. Do you think the president would have made a U-turn or probably sanitized the outcome of that by-election had it gone the way probably Gideon Moi wanted it to go?
Of course, it's normally very difficult to predict the action after the election. But what I'm saying and what I know is that it was going to be a contest, a real big contest. And I said because Gideon has the means and the government also, they have the means. So just as I said that it was going to be a bruising battle. And in politics, if you can avoid, then avoid. And because I just said it is a rehearsal, and they would stop at nothing to ensure that they win as a government, and also to test the credibility of this IBC, not just credibility, but all the functionalities of the IBC. So this shows how a working government can use their position and their state to ensure that whatever they would want to happen can happen in politics. It is not just about arm twisting, but it is also about what these people have in common. You know, in politics, first thing is about self-interest. Most people must have their interest. So you can never know what self-interest Moi had, Gideon had, what interest the president has, but I am sure that they must have agreed on certain issues based on different policies And I think Moi is going to join this broad-based government, and maybe put his conditions that should be fulfilled before he joins the broad-based government. So I think because of self-interest, and maybe also because of the interest of the country, the president talks about the interest of the country, but the politician who wanted to contest had a self-interest. So if HE could meet his interest and also bring the majority to a common goal where we have a unified approach in Rift Valley, I think that was the basis of these agreements that occurred.
Okay. What are we likely to see, Mwalimu Odoyo, what are we likely to see moving forward? Because who else now remains? Kalonzo Musyoka said, Honorable Kalonzo said that he's not joining the opposition, the government. He said that over the weekend, he's not joining that. We have got former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is also not the other side. So who or you're next?
Now, when you say
he said he's going to talk about the state of the county.
When Kalonzo tells you he's not joining anything, then it reminds you of the 2022. Do you know how long Kalonzo took, still playing hard to get to join Azimio? He joined when even the running mate had already been appointed as Karua. He was almost remaining behind. So Kalonzo can say, I'm not joining until last minute, then join. That is possible with him. But also you must know that when your opponent becomes stronger, you feel weak at heart. And he feels rejuvenated. So now the government side is feeling very rejuvenated. People are happier. People are beginning to be bold. But on the other side, they are becoming weaker, as you witnessed in the statements by Rigathi Gachagua, who now says that he's ready to support Kalonzo should the formula they are going to use bring them Kalonzo as the candidate. That was just a more diplomatic way of saying, now I am ready to support Kalonzo Musyoka, because if I don't support him, he can easily move over to the other side like Gideon Moi has done. But the movement of Gideon Moi is very important. Not about the number of votes he brings across. He may not bring any because the people around him may not support the president now, but during the elections they would. But it is very difficult when your own brother in the own neighborhood is not supporting you. It sends very bad signals out to the rest. And also remember, the Moi family is very well endowed financially. So when he is on your side, he can be part of your campaign tool. He may also, you may also buy off a rebellion. If Gideon Moi decided to support the anti-Ruto regiment with the resources that family has, then you know it is a very big battle. Because he doesn't need to use the resources at home. He can use them in Kwale, in Nyeri, anywhere else in the country. So with him on the side of President William Ruto, Raila Odinga on the side of President William Ruto, and Wetangula, Mudavadi, and all those people are there. Just wait and watch who else will be on that side.
That is a big question. Who else will be on that side? And if those people will be with him on that side until next election. Because you've all talked about interests. And all these people will have political interest behind them. Dr. 2027 is here, 6 months to election. Give me an hypothesis of probably what would happen if all of them bolted out.
They bolted out from each other? Or?
Yes. No, everybody for their own interest, now politically speaking.
Right now, what I'm seeing, it may be sad in relation to somebody else who is not into the government. What I am seeing, I'm seeing a re-election. Re-election of President Ruto. It sounds, those people who may hate the government, that they'll hate me for that statement, but the way things are moving, and to comment about Honorable Kalonzo, you know, I've really followed his politics. Nakumbuka the time he was being called watermelon, anapita katikati, anangoja anapita katikati. He has this, not chameleon, he shifts colors. He shifts colors. So if all the time I've seen, from the time I started to vote, I have seen him is it metamorphosizing or just changing color? Can be brown, can be green, can be that color. So all along, I've not seen him keeping a firm stand. So what is very unique or very strange, or what has really happened to him that is so different that will not make him change? It's a matter of time. He is moving to the government. And you remember this day, today on 13th, this is October.
Yeah.
You will remember on this day what I've told you. Honorable Kalonzo will go to the government. And then it will cause more confusion to Wamnyoro. Because one, it'll start his wars of whether he can be in the ballot or not. Because clearly, the tribal thing, he has passed as a tribal king. Wamnyoro has already passed to Kenyans. Even among his fellow Mount Kenya, Mount Kenya members, they see him as a tribal king. And what can a tribal king tell somebody who passes for being a national figure? Almost nothing. Maybe it comes down to you go back to Mount Kenya and then decide you want to be a governor there. Because you see, when you become also too local and too tribal, you come down to your people to give you available positions at your county level. And that is what is going to happen. So what is happening right now, if they have other cards under the table, they don't bring them on under the table. If they don't bring them on the table and they play them, or because somebody else was telling me, oh, there's something that is coming up, or there's a plan that is coming up, so people don't want to show what they want to do very early because somebody is going to interfere. You see the way he was saying the other day that the president is causing confusion in the official position. He's trying to cause confusion to destabilize them.
Yeah.
But he does not know the cards they are playing on him. You will not play a game with a political guru. You know, these things, you know, Kenyans would like to hear what we wish to hear. We hate the truth. I am not for or against the president, because ideally, I hate him or not, he is my president for now. For the sake of my inner peace, I have to take the status quo right now. His Excellency Ruto started all the way from Member of Parliament, coming up. Wamnyoro just he became a Member of Parliament, and then from there skyrocketed to Deputy President. Who among the two is a seasoned politician? So when they are playing these games, who will be left behind? Wamnyoro.
Okay.
Victor, there's something I wanted to tell you about this game of Wamnyoro. Wamnyoro has never been playing a game of somebody who wants to be the president of Kenya. Nevertheless, his primary goal is to capture his community and lock them in the way Raila Odinga locked the Luo. Even in meetings that he goes outside Central Province, he always goes as a visitor of somebody else. But he never goes out in a meeting that has been organized with him as the chief. No. And again, you noticed recently, President Uhuru Kenyatta decided to revamp his Jubilee and took off Matiang'i. So, you know, the Rigathi axis is being depleted systematically, pole pole tukienda. Pole pole tukienda. And you see, Eugene is also not there anymore. Is it Eugene?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are going to Jubilee. So we already have 3 formations. And that is a recipe for chaos for the opposition. And that chaos is what President William Ruto would want to happen. So watch it as we go forward.
Okay. What kind of political card is being played here? Probably you are in better place to explain to me. The kind of, is it gather them, scatter them?
Normally, what people always say is that the Wazungus who were in this country before our independence, used what is called a divide and rule. Used this community against the other community. When you look at traditionally, when Ofafa was killed, they were trying to divide the Kikuyus and the Luos and all that. That is divide and rule.
Yes.
So what is being used now is that Wamnyoro is going to be fought from his own political backyard. And he emerged too soon And that is why I never want to discuss him. Even before he was removed as the vice president, I was on many media stations, and I said before that he is a political neophyte, because the wars that he wants to fight is beyond his imagination. This country has survived many of those years, and where we have reached, and you want only that you want to gather your own community to be behind you. And now you need other communities if you really want to be the president. And in that community, we have seasoned people in his backyard. You know, when you have a former president in your backyard, and a former president who has not reached 70 years old, a former president who is still young, and the son also of a former president, you can imagine the means that they have, what they can use to ensure that as much as Wamunyoro wants to be the kingpin, he wants to bypass a dynasty which has existed for as long as Kenya existed in our independence. So we are going to see some kind of serious rivalry within the Mount Kenya political bloc. That is, the former president is not going to take it easy to see Wamunyoro ride and become the political kingpin of Mount Kenya. And he sits and sees that it is going, no. So this is the first war that is going to meet. And that is what necessitated the Jubilee to go for the National Convention and seek to bring one of the opposition members as maybe a deputy party leader or something. That is Matiang'i.
Yes.
We can bet today, Matiang'i will be where the former president is. That is Uhuru. Those are close buddies. You can never take them away. It is just a matter of time that maybe Jubilee will endorse Matiang'i as their presidential candidate. And this is going to break the unity of the opposition. I have seen it today, was it yesterday, that many people from the camp of Matiang'i now are demanding that they are given their space. Because they are saying that one of the...
Given their space in where?
In the opposition.
Okay.
And
the official opposition.
Official opposition. And I think they were targeting Wamunyoro because he is constantly making himself the leader of that combined opposition without being elected. And I think he's rubbing it on their faces. Yet, some of those people who are in the opposition have been there longer than him. Kalonzo Musyoka has even also been the vice president of this country, but longer than him. He was a quarter vice president. But Kalonzo has been there for long. We have Matiang'i, who was the minister for Interior Minister. Super CS. Chairing all the cabinets in this country for a whole season. So these are people who have a lot of knowledge on the management of a country. And here comes somebody who was only a one-term MP and a quarter vice president trying to load on them. They will refuse. And that is what is going to happen.
Okay.
And they are going to disintegrate. And 2 years is a lot of time in politics. You cannot strategize that you are going to have your candidate 2 years to come. No.
So let me play the devil's advocate. So they're going to disintegrate. What if they unite? All these bodies you've talked about, the leaders, what if they unite? Against the common giant you talked about.
The opposition unites.
Exactly.
I think
against a common giant.
That hypothesis,
you're the one who talked about the common giant.
Yeah.
Yes.
You always look for a common giant enemy.
Exactly.
So, you know, that hypothesis is becoming more and more remote from the way I see things going. Because first of all, even the Kikuyus don't have their hope in Rigathi. Why don't they have it? His age now is not allowing him to contest post-2032. So they would rather invest in a younger man to carry the mantle for their community. Also, it is going to be very difficult for Kenyans today to, again, for the third time, elect another Kikuyu within less than 20 years. It's not going to be possible because people have not started campaigning with such narratives. But as soon as Rigiji becomes a candidate, if he ever does, that is going to be what is on the ground. And it is a very potent weapon that we are keeping hiding in the interim period. As soon as he thinks he can be the candidate, we will unleash it. And we'll remind them that in the very beginning, Jaramogi made Kenyatta the president. And President Moi was made the president by the action of the constitution then. Then when it came to Kibaki, he was made the president, arguably, by Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
And when it came to Uhuru, Uhuru was made the president by President William Ruto. If President William Ruto withdrew from that juggernaut, he would have not gone anywhere. Then, now, when it comes to President William Ruto, he was alone. He relied on his charisma. He relied on his own experience as a politician to become the president. So you look at that, and then you tell Kenyans, you want us to make another one the president, and we know what has happened. They need to take a break and reflect on their position in the Kenyan political arena and say, we also need to let other communities govern this country. That is when it is Kenya for us all, not Kenya for some.
Thank you. I want us to come, I have very few minutes for us to wind up. Then, Dr. Now, the same question I've asked Mwalimu here. What if they unite?
There's something, with your permission, I'd like to comment about Mwesh, has spoken about Wamanyoro edging out Matiang'i, and then he says he thinks he thinks the Kisii people had a problem. I would wish to confirm we had a very big problem, not that we had too much hope in him, but we had a very big problem for him to edge out Dr. Matiang'i to come and speak on behalf of us, the Gusii region, that what he thinks about us. You see, he seemed to be a know-it-all character in the sense that you can perfectly talk about your Mount Kenya and then drop so many counties, come to Kisii, and then decide you want to tell us about our political status. So what has he done? He has created enmity with the Gusii region. And when he has created that, and the hope we have and the luck we have as the Gusii region, even his own people don't like him because of his statements. You know, he speaks like Mount Kenya is more superior than other regions in the country. And that is not acceptable. So what I was trying to confirm is, we tunamwonea 18.
Okay, so all right, now, a question I asked, what if they unite? Fine.
I think
Dr.
the
Matiang'i
chances
is here,
of uniting, Victor, are
here.
almost to zero.
What if, hypothetically speaking?
I say, even if they come together, they're already deflated. Have you seen a deflated tire that wouldn't take you too far away? That is worn out, is trying to be recollected. You wouldn't go far.
Maybe it's a run flat.
You cannot do a long distance.
Maybe it's a run flat tire.
No, it's a flat tire that has internal issues.
Okay.
You know, this is a tire that has always burst, been redone, that has issues. And then you've realized it was ideally not a good quality of a tire. And then you are trying to fab it back, and then you're trying to pump some into it, some pressure into it. It will still deflate.
But Victor, let us not deny you that answer you so much want, the one that if they united, let me tell you, those big wigs that you say are united, the presidency, the government can create even bigger ones in their places. Yeah, there was a time in this country we even campaigned on 42 against 1, but we still lost to the incumbency.
Yeah.
So it is a possibility they can unite, fine.
It's possible.
And the government will think differently, and the incumbent president will create even bigger people in those regions.
All right. By elections coming up, very quickly, in under 5 minutes, Mheshimiwa, we have voter registration happening. How are you performing in your constituency?
I think we are in Nairobi, apart from where this MCA died, that is in Kariobangi.
Yes.
I think my constituency is the second after that. So basically, I would say that we are leading as Kibra constituency in registration.
Very good.
I have put elaborate mechanisms with my people to encourage those who have not registered to register as voters, and we are monitoring on a daily basis of how many have registered. And I think this is what is going. Registration is what propels people into leadership. You can
but 20,000 nationally, that's a very small number.
Yeah, it's a small number. It is low because I think the IBC, they have not gone out to really educate people on voter registration. And because they are newly constituted, some people think, have not known that they have started continuous registration. And also the IDs, you know, there are people who have not been given enough IDs and they are 18 years. So I think it must go hand in hand with the provision of national IDs so that I will have as many people as possible. Those who do not vote are the serious people who do not vote to their candidate as a president. They are the people who deter us from getting a democratically elected leader. So we must always encourage people that they vote irrespective of the person that they vote. You must vote for your choice. So I'm saying that in Kibra constituency, we are doing well. And even today, I will be in the constituency to try and encourage people to register. In fact, one of the cabinet secretary is coming at the DC's place today. He is going to commission a REREC solar electricity. The REREC has given us 4 kilometers solar electricity from the DC to up to the showground. In fact, if you were to come to Kibra today at night, it's a long distance. And people are saying at night, Kibra, you would think it is Dubai because it is lights everywhere. It is no longer the Kibra.
That is all we all need. That is all we all need.
Yeah,
it's going to happen today.
Today at 2, we are going to have CS Wandai coming with all his entourage to commission. You remember the last time the president was in Kibra, I requested the president to help us with that light. And I think it has been done in, I think, within 4 months. And I think this is big for the Kibra people, that now you can walk at 1. We have no security issues along the road. Mama Mboga can sell very peacefully without, and I think people, we are now happy in Kibra. And I think I take this time to welcome the CS Wandai to come to Kibra today.
Thank you. That's a good move there. That's a good move, serving your people. We need to tell people to go and register. Walimu.
I think also
in 1 minute.
People are confusing out there this continuous registration with mass voter registration. If you look at the statistics throughout the years, how people go for this continuous registration, this is even much higher. This one's of 20,000 in 2 weeks is higher than in the past. This continuous registration, people don't go. First of all, you remember, if you live in Kibra, there's only one place you can go for it. But when mass voter registration will come, it will be at every polling station. So people would be going there to register. You know, in some places like the countryside, you have to pander a vehicle with some money to go and register. So people are waiting for the mass voter registration. But I would advise them that if you want to avoid long queues in the future, go and register now.
Right now. This is the time. This is the time. Daktari, tumalizie.
Me, I think according to me, what is happening right now, Kenyans should be privy to the fact that learn how to fight with your voter's card. It is easier and more peaceful that way. And you will not vote, you will not fight with your voter's card if you have not seen the essence and the importance of you being registered as a voter in this country. At least let your voice be heard. It doesn't matter. There are so many seats. You know, sometimes you can air your voice in terms of the president, the governor, and all the seats, all the elective seats. But you may get 2 or 3. But all in all, your voice as a Kenyan citizen, it is very important in terms of trying to give your opinion as a citizen of this country about an election.
Thank you. That is Daktari Evelyn Ogendo, who is a political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us. Asante sana.
Thank you.
Walimu, Odoyo Wida, asante sana as well for coming to the show. He's a political analyst. State of the, did you say state of the nation or?
State of the county.
Which county?
We are going to have State of the County of Homa Bay address on Wednesday, delivered by
the county boss.
Delivered by myself, because the governor has failed to deliver the State of the County address for 3 years running.
So you are addressing as who?
As the shadow governor. Yeah, because you know the reason for having State of the County.
What are the pointers? You can probably start now.
No. You know, the reason for which the county address is done annually is to tell people what you have done and what you are going to do next, so that you can account for their money. But when you have not properly accounted for their money, you are not going to address them to tell them what you have done with it or what you are going to do with it.
Shadow Governor. We'll see you in 2027.
Thank you, my brother.
You know what I'm talking about. Yes. Thank you. Well, I have to let you go. Please let us know what's happening. We need T-shirts.
Actually, we do.
We need T-shirts. There are some T-shirts being sold online with your photo.
Oh, I got lost. I think you're now you're bullying me.
You know, Victor. You know, Victor. The overlapping that finds you on these Kenyan roads is so common. Even naturally, when you are overtaking, you must overlap.
Like the way you've
when
overlapped.
there is an obstacle on the road, you must overlap.
We are done. You've overlapped my show. We're now overlapping the time.
In fact, I want to say
yes
that it has been a very, very...
Hello, fabulous ladies. Welcome to the talk show that's all about sisterhood, empowerment, and unfiltered conversation. We will be focusing on women. We believe in women.
We are really changing.
We are creating a safe space for women to connect, thrive, and share.
Just because you're a woman on a bike, you're labeled in a certain way.
It's not just a talk show, it's a movement. When they are standing, we need to stand out. From heartwarming tales to hilarious adventures.
They could ask me, Catherine, why are you learning?
We are turning the spotlight on women who are breaking barriers in their individual fields.
You have to have a vision. You are the leaders of Kenya today.
Keeping it honest and relatable.
Mental health is real.
Yes.
Where there is no communication, there is no relationship.
Join the sisterhood on KBC TV for Dada's show.
Bibi. Kwani wewe ni mgonjwa?
Chama ikisha usirudi hapa kwangu.
Hata igwa atini lazima.
Ya Masus. Kuja pia mi chakula. Unakula nyama.
Kwani ulikuja Nairobi kuteseka?
Naweza onja tu moja.
Sasa nikitoka hapa nisiposiba,
utamwaga supu.
No, let nani tukusamwisi sinefika.
Usinite mwisi wewe.
Tunaweza kurudi kwa ofisi kidogo.
Ole matope, nimekuita mara ngapi?
Sikuwa na hesabu. Kwani umekuwa Afghanistan wale wanauzaga miwa na mahindi kwa parapara. Na kombe levi imenichukua imeleka kwa kona. Makeyo.
Well, welcome back to Channel 1 on the Good Morning Kenya show. And right about now, we are ready for the Western Spectrum. In this segment, we are going to talk about fishing, on matters fishing this morning. And my name is Wycliffe Okech. With me now is Tom Oguda. Tom Oguda is the chairperson. Tom Guda, rather, is the chairperson of the regional BMU network, East African community, and also the chairperson of the Kenya BMU network, and also the chair of the Lake Victoria BMU network, Kenya. That is just quite a portfolio that Tom Guda holds in matters fishing. And right about now, we want to talk about the position of fishing in terms of contribution to the economy of Kenya, and also remember the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference that is starting tomorrow, and this also presents yet another opportunity for investment in the fishing community. All that we are going to talk about it with Tom Guda here. Tom Guda, good morning.
Good morning, okay.
Yes. Let me just start off by asking you, today, are you happy use of Lake Victoria in terms of fishing?
Well, I can say I'm happy because we are alive. I can also say we are happy because we are still carrying out some level of fishing. But of course, with a lot of hope still, but currently, of course, with the diminishing resources, there is also some disparity. People are getting slightly out thinking that maybe are we going to have fish the following day or not. So desperation is setting in the sector because of how to control the wild stocks, and also because of so many other developments. Some of them are environmental, and some of them are also just systems.
Yes, some of them environmental, and some of them systems. And when we talk about sustainability of Lake Victoria to ensure that this massive resource benefits those that live within the riparian area that we talk about, the riparian counties in Kenya, and because this resource does not only benefit Kenyans, it's a resource that is shared within the East African community. Tanzania have a great portion of this resource, Uganda as well. How do you tackle the issue of illegal fishing? Because this is something that has been talked about quite often for a long time. Illegal fishing, it's been talked about, but then it's still there. Why is it still there? Is it that the systems don't work, or that the implementation is not effective enough?
You're right, Kech. The systems are slightly not very effective. Illegal fishing today, as I speak, is the greatest threat to sustainable capture fisheries. Greatest to the extent that this system, if not checked, may eliminate completely the entire fishery stock in the wild. And I'm talking like this because so many other lakes have collapsed. Fisheries have collapsed because of lack of control of legalities. And what's bringing legalities? Legalities caused because fishermen think, because now they're not able to get the right size fish, then they want to get efficient gears. And most of the efficient gears are illegal gears. They are not good gears, which would now not be selective. Because in our fishery, we need to target fish. So if you're a Nile perch fisher, you must go out there to target Nile perch. If you are fishing daga or mena mukene, as they call in the East African community, then you must be having the right gear to target it. But fishers now are going out of their way with illegal methods, and they're also using illegal nets to get the fish. So now when they do this, then basically they are getting into the younger fish. They are also getting the brood stock, the mothers of the fish. Sometimes they interfere with the breeding areas of the fish. And therefore now we are experiencing reduced catch because of depletion of the natural critical habitats for fish, and also the harvesting of immature fish. This problem is persisting in the region because of lack of proper coordination. Control of illegality is very expensive. And regionally, we are working on monitoring, control, and surveillance mechanism. Of course, we have the harmonized guidelines, which were made by the East African community member states. They agreed up to the cabinet level. Right now in Kenya, we are battling with our own monitoring, control, and surveillance regulations. Recently, stakeholders converged, but then the national government and the county government could not still agree on who is going to do what in enforcing the regulations of the fisheries. So as we wait and as we ponder around who is going to do what, the fishermen are taking advantage and they are continuing with that illegal harvest. So we need resources, we need commitment, both political, because again, Okech, as I tell you today, if you want to combat illegality, you are going to touch on livelihoods. Then politics now chips in. Politicians will always say, oh, you are targeting my group of people. You are targeting this group of people. So we need dedication and determination as a country for Kenya itself. Some other neighbors have tried. URT, United Republic of Tanzania, is trying, though they are not also yet there. Republic of Uganda is trying. They are also not yet there. As Kenya, we need to be firm and say we need to conserve this lake by preserving the ecosystem, ensuring that we do the correct, right fishery, and also punish offenders, just like we are doing when people poach or when people log in the forest.
It's even better that you've brought in the element of politics in the management of the fishing activities on Lake Victoria. But should we allow politics to override the outlined guidelines to control illegal fishing? Should we allow politics to override?
We should. I think it's a question of priority, okay. Leaders need to look at what is the potential that we can generate out of Lake Victoria. And persons who are informed about this lake have informed us quite well about the potential of Lake Victoria, the largest freshwater lake in the world, second largest freshwater lake in the world. So we are talking about a huge potential that can generate billions and billions of US dollars and support the economies of the region. But again, we are worried about what we do with our people. Because if our fisheries in Lake Victoria will still remain subsistence. In fact, at some level, they are saying that the people who fish in Lake Victoria, majority of them are fishing for food. Now, when we look at fishing for food, and then we allow persons who have bad interest to go into the lake and carry out illegalities, then now we are staring at collapse. So politics is coming in because fisheries is also about people. In fact, okay, today, if you talk to experts, they will tell you that fisheries management no longer about ecology and biology of the lake. It is more about human behavior. So the people that we are targeting are the fisher folk. And these fisher folk are Kenyan. These fisher folk are people residing in counties. So when you enforce, you are going to arrest and confiscate gears. When you enforce, you are going to arrest and prosecute people. Then now the leaders come in. So we must rein on leaders and talk to them. Tell them the importance of fisheries of Lake Victoria. Let them appreciate that legal fishers are like poachers. Let them appreciate that legal fishers are like loggers. And so we must deal with them as criminals. Once we are all firm on that, then we are going to put in safety measures, including closed seasons. We used to have closed seasons for this lake, which was lasting about 4 months. And the results were evident. After the closed seasons, people would go into that lake and smile. We need as a region to agree. And the beauty for Lake Victoria is that we have a strong regional economic bloc. The East African community is very strong. And we can come together as a region and talk together and agree that for the sake of capture fisheries, these are some of the things that we are going to carry out. And we live by them. And we support the systems. Then we succeed.
All right. About 3 months ago, just a precursor to the Madaraka celebrations in Homa Bay, we had the Blue Economy Summit. And the CS for Mining and Blue Economy, that is CS Hassan Joho, mentioned that instead of confiscating the illegal gear that is being used by some fishermen, they're now changing tact, and now sensitization will take priority. Has that been happening? Because I remember we had that conversation with you live on here, and you said probably that is going to make some difference. Have you seen any difference that sensitization has achieved in terms of talking to these fishermen on matters using illegal gear?
Yeah, we continue talking to our people, of course, okay. We continue to explain to our people at all levels of government, both national and county government, talking to them and telling them that this is not good enough for this lake. We need to be responsible for this lake. We need to fish sustainably. We continue engaging people. But okay, one thing is to engage the people. The other thing is what the minister said, alternatives, right? So if government will come together and say, as government, this is what we want to do. We already know the people we have. We know the number of boats we have. We know the number of gears that we have. We continue talking to our people. If government will come up with a program of targeting these guys and telling them, look, if this is what you have, we can have an exchange program. We give you this. But most importantly is to instill that discipline within our systems. And even as we do this, because we are dealing with human beings, still we must show them that if you do this, there is a harsh punishment. So I still think strongly that we welcome the move by CS Joe, which is very human and very okay. But again, we must still have an efficient unit, MCS unit, that is going to be charged with the responsibility of ensuring that any fishing activity carried out in this lake is carried out in a manner that is lawful. That must be funded by national government, supported by county government, and then all of us, the BMU network, must support that idea. It is only then that people will know that this resource is important and we need to protect it. But we encourage government. CS Joe means well for this lake. I work closely with him, he means well for this lake, but we have to ensure that our people also understand that if we do protect this lake, then the monies that people were talking about, those earlier years, what my father was telling me, we are going to get them back.
All right. Still staying on illegal fishing, because this is the one factor that affects the sustainability of fishing on Lake Victoria. You've mentioned the element of politics. Are you in other words, admitting that we will continue having illegal fishing so long as politics still override the guidelines?
We can manage our politics. You know, our politicians are people. Like, for instance, there are people that we have spoken to. I remember the governor of Homa Bay, for instance, is very strong in protection of fish and also doing good fishing. I know a number of times we speak with her. She also says that we need to protect this lake. And I know a number of our leaders listen. And they understand that we need to conserve this ecosystem if we have to live from it. And this is the clarion call by national government as well. And that's why when we meet as leaders, then we tell them what we want. At the chair of the BMU, because when we are carrying out MCS, or monitoring, control and surveillance, then they target my people. But I need to tell them, look, this is not meant to hurt you. This is meant to save you. Because if we discourage illegalities, then in the near future you are going to earn. Right now, catch 1 kilogram of Nile perch from say 9 to and above kilo, you'll be getting about 400 and 620 Kenya shillings per kilogram, just a single kilogram of Nile perch. Now you can imagine if you're going to have a basin of about 100 small juveniles and you have a single Nile perch of 50 kilograms, you can do your mathematics and you can see how much potential we have. In fact, Nile perch for me is the white gold of Lake Victoria. And we cannot just sit aside and watch because we want to be nice to our people.
Is it an endangered species, so to speak?
Of course, yes. Right now, of course, with the increase in the fish smoke trade, you know, China and Hong Kong and the East and Israel, people are looking for fish smoke like anything. And fish smoke now is the hot kid in the block because it's selling highly and it is highly priced. Of course, very valuable. It is used for many things in the Eastern world. So because of fish smoke, then people now target Nile perch. A lot of people now focus on Nile perch.
All right. You mentioned something to do with, actually, a great number of the fishermen, they do it for subsistence and for sustainability of the lake. Going forward, how are you going to ensure that this resource is not depleted enough? I mean, not depleted, so that to ensure that those people that it continues rather to support livelihood.
What we are going to do now, of course, we are working closely with both levels of government. Number one, let us have the MCS regulation in place. That's number one. Number two, this now for government, regulatory issues. Number two, government must ensure that we don't kill Fish Levy Trust Fund. We don't kill it. There was a meeting, cabinet meeting in Kakamega, which you all read about, where there was a proposal to do away with Fish Levy Trust Fund and Kenya Fish Marketing Authority. We must ensure that we retain these entities because they are going to mobilize resources and support alternative funding to the sector to support matters to do with conservation. So we must retain them. Then look at Kenya Fish Marketing Authority, for instance. We want the beach management units to transform from being a social outfit to a viable economic entities. And one way of doing so is ensuring that these people now understand money. This we are doing through establishment of fish marketing cooperatives, which I'm championing, and the government of Kenya is supporting through the Kenya Fish Marketing Authority. So once we have made the BMUs understand that they are no longer in sports, they are no longer just carrying out a social activity, they are in serious economic activity, then the mindset is going to change. And I believe strongly that when BMUs start thinking money, they are going to see the seriousness of putting a lot of effort into this lake. So together with other efforts with the region, because also at the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization, we are doing a lot in ensuring that we communicate to our leadership, do patrols, ensure that we give information about what we need to do. Then we are going to have a resuscitated stock. We are going to have back our stock, and we believe with that we are going to get back our lake.
Oh, yes, getting back our lake. And right now, I want to focus this discussion on the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference that is starting tomorrow. And remember, Siaya is one of the riparian counties in this region. What does this opportunity present to the fishing community?
Great opportunity, but Willis, before I move to that,
Sure.
allow me to tackle a very critical area where I must also thank the government. You also understand that we have a lot of conflicts that are happening in this lake.
Exactly.
Because you shared. A lot of times Kenyans have been asking, what's happening? Why is Uganda frustrating Kenya, Tanzania frustrating Kenya? I think number one, we have to agree that the major problem we are having is not about the communities of the East African community. People are fighting over this resource. There are people who feel they are protecting their resource. And others feel people are looking for their resource. For Kenya, we feel that what we are looking for in Uganda is just our fish. Because you have been told a lot of times that the fish breed in this republic. And then now at some point in time when they grow big, they move to the deeper waters, which is in the other side. So we have had a lot of issues. Kenya, Uganda, a lot of issues. Kenya arresting Uganda and fishermen in Kenya and etc. But I must say this, we have done a lot. And recently I must say that I must appreciate the Republic of Kenya. The recent engagement by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto and the President Yoweri Museveni did bring some sanity. At least today we are witnessing some calmness. Of course, right now I'm in the team that's working on a mechanism, a framework that's going to guide on how we move forward so that we reduce completely, if possible, eliminate the conflict that has been emanating from the region. Now back to the Siaya Investment Conference, which is going to start tomorrow. As the county of Siaya, I believe strongly that together with the rest of the other counties, our greatest economy is fishing and trading is fish. We must take advantage of this economy. Today, we have new technologies coming on board. People are talking about aquaculture, and specifically, I'm seeing a lot of interest in cage fish farming. We must also look at the other areas of investment in the blue economy sector, which of course will improve on the transport system. How do we connect the networks? I must appreciate because so far we have developed spatial planning program, which I believe can easily tell us where we can put in our investment. But for the sector in Siaya, what they must do together with the national government is, number one, they must support the fisher folk in improving the kind of boats that we are using today. We are still using those traditional wooden boats. People have moved now into fiberglass. And we need to now try to see how best do we bring our traditional boat builders and give them correct technology so that now they can move into fiberglass and improve their navigation. We are still doing like hunting and gathering. Why can't we develop systems so that we know that this is where we have mature fish, for instance? And then we look into other areas of transport to connect and build into other areas of the economy like the ecotourism and some of these other things. So fishermen must be told that you must not rely only on capture fisheries, the wild fish. You can also do fish farming through cage investment and support the value chain in terms of processing and all kind of stuff so that they can improve their incomes.
Even as we wrap up this conversation, still on the Siaya International Investment and Trade Conference, what should be the focus of that forum? Because it is, as I understand, it is meant to mobilize resources to actually to boost investment in the fishing sector alongside other sectors actually to ensure that the economy of the region is enhanced. So my question to you, what should be the focus of that particular summit?
Map your produce. If fish is number one for share, like I believe it is, the number one infrastructure, the landing site. Then infrastructure at the landing site. When I talk about two, I mean the roads, electricity. Then in the landing site, I mean the development of the fish handling facilities. Then number two, investment in cage aquaculture. Sustainable investment in cage aquaculture. And then we also need to support our capture fisheries by trying to support them, developing new equipment, modern boats that can save lives as well. and which are very efficient. Then we develop the chain, because fish is lost at the times of landing. We need to understand that immediately we get our fish, that's not the value. The expression value is not the value of our fish. And that's why we lose out even the national government's check. All along you hear that fish is contributing a decimal point to the GDP, because we mess up our metrics. The question here is we don't tap into the value chain and check from the landing site, the fish will move to another level. We sell our fish whole, right? And that's where we lose it. So in this investment, must look at the potentials of the value chain. Look, how much can we get from our fish? And this is something that the governor of Siaya, my good friend Agre, must look into, so that we support this sector, starting from the primary producers.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tom Guda. That conversation regarding fishing on Lake Victoria. This is quite a massive resource that supports livelihood of so many households, not just in Kenya, but also in Uganda and Tanzania, who equally have a share of this Lake Victoria here. And talking about fishing, we have the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference that is starting tomorrow. And my colleague Achola Simon is in Siaya with the governor of Siaya, that is James Orengo, to talk about that summit and also what that summit actually means for the fishing community in this region. Remember, Kisumu, Busia, this is a region that basically relies on Lake Victoria for the livelihood. And now Chola Simon, who is also in Siaya, to have that conversation, that is taking over from here in Kisumu. But before we head there, allow me to extend my appreciation to the production team that ensures this conversation
live from Siaya, because this county is hosting the Siaya International Trade Investment Conference, the inaugural trade conference they're actually hosting in this county, and specifically to ensure that they put to the fore, of course, investment opportunities that there is in this particular county. And the person who is actually going to take us through exactly what they're doing to ensure that indeed they can move more investors into this county is the governor himself, James Orengo, and already he's on the set. And karibu sana, Governor.
Thank you very much.
So far, how are things?
Well, they're getting on very well. We started the countdown is in a matter of 48 hours. We'll be rolling out the Siaya International Trade and Investment Conference. Tomorrow is the date for arrivals of our delegates. Tomorrow they register if they have not. They'll be accredited if they have not. And also taking the conference materials, documentation, including the program and the investment handbook. The conference itself starts on the 15th, Wednesday, 16th to 17th. All is ready, and we're expecting our chief guest, the President William Ruto, on Thursday, the 16th. So the plans are underway, and just to show how much enthusiasm there is about this conference, all the booths, the exhibition booths, they have been taken, all of them. And,
that interest, of course, the investment opportunity that there is, running into hundreds of billions of shillings.
Yes.
Is this the place for investors in and out of the country to actually come and pitch tent?
Siaya is the place. We have not really pitched Siaya for investment in the past, but this time we are going to demonstrate that Siaya is the place to come. We are strategically placed along the shores of Lake Victoria. We are neighbors with our biggest trading partner, which is Uganda. Tanzania along the lake is several hours away, but is a neighbor along the lake. And then, of course, we got the Lake Region Economic Bloc. All together, we make a formidable force. And Siaya, we intend to be the centerpiece, because we got good land, very fertile land. And in between Siaya, there are two rivers, Nzoia and Yala. And Yala Delta, which is the biggest freshwater wetland in the country, with a lot of possibilities for agriculture. So agriculture is the main pillar. We can grow rice, we can grow sugarcane. Siaya used to be the cotton country. We can grow cotton, and also we're introducing coffee. The other pillar is mining. Siaya can easily become the golden county. Huge deposits of gold, which are in commercial amounts, and there's already a country involved. in doing the mining work with the cooperation of the national government and the county government. So mining is very important.
Governor, with all these massive opportunities, probably the question then that many people will be asking is that what has actually been pegging us behind, and how do we intend to move forward to ensure that indeed, even as we hold this conference, that the gains that we have actually made in terms of just putting out there what is actually on offer, that we leverage on it and ensure that we scale higher heights?
You know, Siaya used to be part of Central Nyanza, which included Kisumu. So a lot of things were happening in the Kisumu County, and that is good for us because we need a neighbor which is strong economically. All the sugar factories were in Kisumu, the textile, the edible oils, the trading. So Siaya was a little bit of a backyard. But now we are beginning to position Siaya to take its proper place in the investment space. And we have no doubts that we are going to get it right. Already, if you come to the exhibition and the pavilions which are there at the Siaya National Polytechnic, you'll just see the array of people who are coming showing interest in the investment opportunities that we have in Siaya.
Governor, that comes with policy formulation. And many investors out there will be asking, yes, these opportunities are there and we can actually exploit them. What is it that we've actually done in terms of just aligning our policies to ensure that those that actually want to invest in this county can actually do so without so many bureaucracies?
Yeah, well, through legislation of the local assembly, we are creating an enabling environment, regulations that will make it possible for any investor to come and go through the protocol without not too much bureaucracy and red tape. And I think that is helping. The other thing is also we are reaching out to investors. And instead of waiting them to solve the challenges, meet the challenges, solve the problems, we are walking through with them. In fact, there are one or two of them we have talked to and taken them to the banks that we think can provide them with the necessary finance where they have certain shortfalls. So it's a journey that we are not leaving to investors alone. We are walking the journey with them.
You've been very big on corruption, and of course corruption is also one of the areas that actually inhibits growth in terms of investment.
Yes, we are glad to report that through a report of the Anti-Corruption Commission, they said that Siaya is one of the 3 counties in Kenya where you are likely not be asked for a bribe in order to get services. That I think, is a pointer towards the possibilities that we offer in Siaya. Also, generally, in the reports that have been released by the Anti-Corruption Commission, I think it shows that we are on the right path to fight with this dragon of corruption.
Ultimately, in many counties or many spheres, when you are looking at investment, and especially in this country, people tend to feel that it's something that involves foreign investors, big shots in the society. And we tend to forget about the small and medium enterprises that actually thrive and actually run the economy. What are we doing to ensure that they can actually also benefit from this particular investment conference that is actually ongoing?
That is a very important question. If the investment climate is not right for local people, investors who are coming from outside are likely not to come. In fact, investors tend to get information not from government agencies, but those already who are doing business. So we are creating a conversation between the local investors who are already here and those that we intend to come. And this conference is going to offer space and opportunities for both the current investors who are already here in Siaya with those who intend to come to invest in Siaya.
Past political volatility in the region has had a major hit on how the perception in terms of people that actually want to come and set base in this, not just Siaya County, but of course the region. Over the years, we have seen that change. Where are we in terms of ensuring that we are more accommodative
I don't think that it was really the political volatility. I think it was a question of total negligence of the area. Without infrastructure, for example, you cannot attract investment. And without the right enabling environment, you cannot have the investment. Right now, I think there are infrastructural development which are going on that are putting us in a better place. I'm not saying that our roads are particularly, superb, but I think some of the work that has been done is making it possible for investors to come along the lake, along our rivers, and I forgot to talk about the possibilities in energy. There are two sites in game that they are interested to put up or construct electricity plants, hydro, and also now we are talking about the nuclear energy. Yeah.
Yes. Specifically, you have talked about agriculture. You also talked about energy. We're looking at the blue economy, and my colleague who's just been on air a few minutes ago was actually discussing this with BMUs in terms of harnessing the opportunities that there is in the lake. Of course, Siaya is strategically placed. How then do we move? Because the president has already said that just the 50 billion shillings that you're actually getting from the sector is far way below what we are supposed to be getting, because we're supposed to get around 500 billion shillings each year.
Yes.
What are we doing as a county to ensure that we move and get more from it?
First of all, our landing sites were not there at all. The landing sites are not well constructed. They are not modernized. We have now a modern landing site at Londa Kutieno, and landing sites are going to come up in Hasembo Bay, Wichlum, and even a bigger landing site and a fish market in Usenge. We are trying to encourage proper and well-managed fish farming in the lake using cages, and also in dry land, fish farming in ponds. That we're also encouraging. But I agree with you that there are possibilities and potentials which are not being exploited. That's why the blue economy for us is a game changer, and we must continue putting more and more resources into the blue economy.
And people need to look at that sector differently, because we tend to see it as a sector for unschooled, a sector for the old, whereas there are young people in the county who are unemployed but are not actively venturing into that. What are we doing to ensure that young people can actually, not just in the blue economy sector, but also in very many other sectors, because in agriculture, in mining and what have you, those are sectors that are actually begging for young people to actually join into the fray.
Actually, if you look at the blue economy, the core of the people who are engaged in that activity are actually young people. What we need to do is to make sure they get economic returns, returns that can make them have a decent living. That, I think, is going to continue with the landing sites that I've talked about, and the modernization of how we do fish farming in the lake and in our waters. The other thing that I agree with you, that a lot of our young people are not properly gainfully employed. We want to discourage the young people that the only way to get employment is not through formal employment. There are sectors in agriculture, and some of them are in artisanal mining, and many other opportunities to do small trades. And this, with our vocational training centers, with the TVETs, are going to give them more skills. They are going to hone their skills to be able to earn a decent living.
Going back to Sitiko, Governor, over 2,000 delegates expected, and of course, other support staff that are actually just becoming in terms of attending that conference. Siaya, do you have the capacity to actually host all those 2,000 delegates? And then two, is it a good challenge that we are seeing the opportunities that there is, and it's something that we can work on going in future to ensure that indeed this is something that we can handle without any pressure?
I think we have capacities. And I'm glad that, the gains are overflowing, not just in Siaya, but in Kisumu, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, all our neighboring counties. But before we had a big function here, the Pinjlu Festival, which attracted 2 presidents. It was done in many sites within the county, and we are able to live up with the pressures. I think we had even more delegates coming for Pinjlu, because some of them were coming from DRC, from Southern Sudan, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, and even from the United States and Australia. So this one, I think we can handle it, but it is also creating awareness within our business sector that we need to have more hotels. The hospitality industry must be expanded and modernized. But I think, speaking for now, I think we got the means and the capacity to engage these 2,000 plus delegates.
A good challenge, if someone was to ask.
Yeah.
It is a good challenge for you.
It is an extremely good challenge. It has never happened before in Siaya, and is happening. And I think it's going to be a successful story.
The other question then I wanted to ask is about involvement of youth in the preparation and, of course, everything that revolves around the investment conference. The acting chief of staff trade said that you have been very deliberate and intentional in terms of engagement of youth in preparation, and of course some of the content that will actually be coming out from that conference will be youth-centered. Just tell us more about the same.
Yes, first of all, just the practical work of preparing, the infrastructure for this investment conference. The youth are the center of it. We are using the youth who have the qualifications. Some of them we're also getting from the colleges and the polytechnics to help us do ushering and protocol services, and even for them who are trained in the hospitality industry to ask us, stewards at the restaurant we're having at the stadium. And generally, I can say in the preparation, the youth have been at the center of it. Cleaning the town and putting up the structures, it has been a youth-driven process.
When it's also important to note that it has not just been about handwork or manual work, but it has also gone in terms of even creating the content that is actually being used, and especially technology that will actually be on show in the conference.
Yes, yes. There the youth are very well involved. When the president will be coming here on Thursday, there's a hub is going to unveil in Bondo, courtesy our Senator, Dr. Buru. And a lot of youth are honing their skills on digital space, content creation, and monetizing, that content creation. And we're using a lot of them to pass information, to pitch the conference, so the youth are there.
Governor, the biggest challenge, I'm told, that you have had internally has been that of matching the volume of this conference to the icons that we have in the county. Because this is a county that when you start mentioning icons, you will actually run out of figures. I don't want to talk about you because you're already here. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Raila Amolo Odinga, Adero Kango, all those greats that you'd actually imagine of. The challenge has been to actually match the conference success to the icons that we have in this county. Do you think that we've actually done well in terms of just matching?
I think we'll match it, but I agree with you with the observation that, Siaya I've got legends, icons, very big names. Even the former president of the United States, President Obama, has got his roots here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but they say big names, but nothing to show for it. I think we're going to match that legendary individuals that have come out of Siaya with what we are doing actually to make Siaya great and the county that it should be.
Does it at times weigh you down in terms of saying, I come from this county, we have so many big names, but what is on the show does not equal to that? Does it at times, when you look at yourself in the mirror and say that this is a challenge that I have to ensure that once I'm exiting the stage, I should have pushed this county to that level?
Yeah, you're quite right. It disturbs me a lot, and that's why we are trying to do even the impossible. For example, I have belief, I have faith in the future of technology, and for that matter, in nuclear science. And we're saying if Siaya is a place of these great names, then the first nuclear generation plant should be here in Siaya. It will have many benefits. Many people will require to be trained for that facility. That is why we think that Siaya can do better in agriculture. And the other day, Waziri Oparanya was here trying to sell coffee to the farmers, to tell them you can do coffee here. It is these challenges that I think can make Siaya rise to the level that it should, well above even some of the counties who are peers. I believe that we have what it takes, and Siaya is going to be a different place in the next 2-3 years.
Governor, we understand that you have another meeting shortly after this. And just in conclusion, probably you would tell us some of the things that you would want those that are actually coming to Siaya or those that are actually watching can actually take home in terms of this is what I want from Siaya, this is what I can do from Siaya, or this is what you want people at home to understand that Siaya is.
The first thing I want them is to invest in Siaya. Otherwise, we won't be having this conference. I encourage them to look at Siaya, look at the opportunities, and I'm glad already, as we speak, there are people who already have identified areas of possible investments. The other thing that I want to come out with this conference is to make it possible for the youth to engage in meaningful employment, because the youth are not just about the future. We are making our future now, so we need to engage the youth now, because the youth are quick to learn. The youth have got a lot of energy. So one of the objectives that I'll be very happy if we achieve is putting the youth at the center of our progress and of our development plans.
Fantastic. James Agri Bob Orengo, Siaya governor, of course, telling us what he expects from this conference, and of course telling you what you need to know about Siaya County, even as you think about coming to invest in this county, a county of greats. You cannot mention any sector in this country without mentioning someone from Siaya County. And he says that is his biggest challenge in terms of ensuring that even as he does whatever he does in Siaya County, he must match up to the names that actually come from Siaya County. This has been Western Spectrum, of course, giving you details of exactly what is happening in this region, but more importantly, focusing on Siaya International Trade Investment Conference, the inaugural one that is actually beginning tomorrow, and of course will be running all the way up until Thursday. And the governor says there's so much in terms of potential and in terms of potential investment, and he says come to Siaya and invest in Siaya. Trust KBC to actually bring you this live coverage of this event from today all the way up until the conclusion of the conference. And of course, we'll be bringing you each and every detail on all our digital platforms, social media platforms. Be part and parcel of the conversation, so that then at the end of the day, you get to understand what Siaya has to offer. Back to studio.
Daddy umekasirisha mama.
Ni mimi mlikuwa mnaongelelea? Endeleeni.
Angalia bwana Andrew amesema.
Wewe ni daktari.
Hasa ukiulizwa unafanya nini pale utasema nini?
Sio mambo tulimalizana.
Silobudi ubidi.
Toka kwa nyumba yangu.
Ni nini shida yao Gen Z?
Mimi sitakujua penye pesa itatoka.
Usimfuate mke wangu tafadhali. Nani yako hapo?
Oh my God.
Mogaka.
Mwenye bibi.
Kwani wewe ni mgonjwa?
Chama ikisha usirudi hapa kwangu.
Hata igwa ati ni lazima.
Ya Masus.
Hey.
Kuja pia mimi chakula. Unakula nyama.
Kwani ulikuja Nairobi kuteseka?
Naweza onja tu moja.
Sasa nikitoka hapa nisiposiba.
Nitamwaga supu.
No, nani tukusamwisi
Usinite mwizi wewe. Tunaweza kurudi kwa ofisi kidogo.
Ole matope, nimekuita mara ngapi?
Chukua na hesabu. Kwani umekuwa Afghanistan wale wanauzaga miwa na mahindi kwa parapara.
Na kombelevi imenichukua imeleka kwa kona. Makeyu.
Michuano ya kufuzu kwa kombe la dunia mwakani 2026 yanafikia tamati mwezi huu wa Oktoba. Je, vijana wa Cote d'Ivoire watawezana na Harambee Stars? Usingoje kuambiwa. Tazama mechi hii live hapa KBC Channel 1 siku ya Jumanne tarehe 14 Oktoba kuanzia saa 4 usiku. Ujue mbivu na mbichi. Pia tutapeperusha matangazo haya kupitia Radio Taifa na stesheni zingine za KBC. Usikose. KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth reggae vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side, giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Cold,
and me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hatija ai, money especially ukisonga.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya, and right now we have gotten into our family check segment. And as I had mentioned at the very beginning of the program, our topic of conversation today is on dealing with disappointment. So we're going to look at ways in which you can deal with disappointments in a way that it will not be harmful to you. And I'm very pleased to have the guests that I have with me in studio, beginning with the one just right next to me on my right. We have Evangelist Courage MB. Evangelist Courage MB is an author and also a film director, and from the Kingdom Initiative. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, right next to Evangelist Courage, we have Anthony Njenga, and Anthony is a psychologist, he's a mentor and a mental health champion. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Vivian.
All right, joining us later will be Mite, who is our trainer, mentor, and the CEO Pro Mentors Africa. He'll be joining us as we continue with this conversation. Let us begin with first, how about we define what disappointments are? When we talk about disappointments, how does that look like? What do we call a disappointment?
Honestly, for me, I would say a disappointment from a layman's language is that emotional pain we feel when reality doesn't match our expectations. You know, it's that feeling you get when you hope for something to happen, but it doesn't happen. Yes.
Yeah. So disappointments mainly come from our expectations. Do you also think the same way?
Yeah, I agree with him. But there's a key word I want to start with, just for a layman point of view, and just to also give a, because I'm going to be dealing with this from a biblical perspective. Disappointment, it causes sorrow, but one of the key words I want to use is believed. It is a powerful tool that you choose to believe in someone, and when you believe in someone, and when that person disappoints you, that level of expectation hurts. And let me just go further to just mention that, you know, God is a perfect mathematician. He said 1 + 1 in God's mind is 2, and God equates believe to righteousness. And so Bible says Abraham believed God and was counted unto him for righteousness. And so when you believe in someone, and when that person disappoints you, it put a deep holes in your heart. Because when you believe someone, you see them from a righteous perspective. You see them from the point where that person, you know, you have a huge expectation of that person that you can trust them, you can lean on them, and in a split second, they pull that raw out of you, create sorrow, unfulfilled desire, and of course, it kind of shrink your expectation for them. Yeah.
So from your point of view, that is how disappointment looks like. So from what he's saying, he's looking at it mainly from the point of, you know, one being disappointed by another person, you know, so there are such situations where the disappointment comes from someone else, and then there are disappointments where it's just how things have turned out. Maybe you were expecting to get this particular job, you went for the interview, you believe you did so well, but then you don't get it. Then there comes the disappointment as well. I want us to dwell on the fact that most of the times it's mainly because of the expectations we have.
Absolutely.
So does this mean that we lower our expectations? And how does that look like? Because we also need to be ambitious people. Yeah.
For me, I'd say, when you talk about lowering your expectation for you not to get disappointed, that means you will not be applying the simple virtue of being authentic, being yourself. You see, I believe for an expectation to happen the way you want it to happen, you have to have that personal authenticity that, you know, this is me. As much as I may want something to happen in a certain way, authentically, this is me. This is how, or this is what I expect. So I don't have to necessarily lower my expectations for me to achieve or for me to get what I'm supposed to get. What I'm trying to say is, as much as expectations really comes with, you know, disappointment, it doesn't mean that I will have to lower my expectation, because when I lower my expectation, it means I'll not be myself, I'll not be my authentic self.
Anthony, they need to check your microphone a bit, and as they do that, maybe I can come to the evangelist. You know, how would you say is the proper way to react to a moment of disappointment?
That's a great question. The first thing I want to say, disappointment is inevitable. In other words, it's going to exist. Whether we want it or not. And there's a key point you made when it comes to disappointment. We can be disappointed by individual, the government, the society, friend. And the reason why I say, how do we react to it? I think it's something that in merge as we have this mindset of not being disappointed, we should also expect that disappointment exists. And why do I say so? There are two things that from a biblical perspective that we can look at that came out of heaven. We did not invent it. It came straight out of heaven. The first thing is music. We did not invent music. And that's why music goes straight to the soul. Out of music, someone can drink. Out of music, someone can fall in love. The same with disappointment. we did not invent disappointment. A disappointment came out of heaven. It started with Satan and God. You know, God got two. God in Job 1:6, Job talks about the sons of God. When you talk about the sons of God, you talk about angelic being, and Satan was among the sons of God. He was the very first person that disappointed God. Because God had an expectation of Job, of Satan, and Satan disappointed God. And disappointment, you can also see it with men. When Adam also disappointed God. And so disappointment is like death. Death is rooted into the earth. It shows up from nowhere. And death not going to go away until judgment comes. Judgment day comes. And so to deal with disappointment, while it is true that we have expectation, it's also true we should have an open space that these things can happen. And why do I say so? And so in the end of the episode, I gave my brother the time to also talk. Why do I say we should have an open space? Why? Because if you don't have an open space that disappointment can come, it's going to hit you so hard and it will sweep you off your feet. And some people go to the place of no recovery. Yeah, some people go to the place of no recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some people, it gets completely bad. We had you know, cut you short while you were talking about, you know, you were expounding more on matters, you know, disappointment and where to draw the line between, you know, your expectations and also living like someone who has ambitions still. You know, you don't want to live without any kind of expectations because you're afraid of getting disappointed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was talking about being authentic, being real. You see, when you talk about, or when you say that I will have to lower my expectation so that I can, you know, avoid my expectation of being disappointed, that means I'll not be myself. You see, as much as we are ambitious, as much as we are go-getters, we want to achieve some things, I don't necessarily have to lower my expectations for something to happen the way I want it to happen. Disappointments are, you know, part of life. They are natural. We can't do away with disappointment. And when disappointments comes, one thing we need to understand, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. Disappointment shouldn't come from a point of failure. You see, Michael Jordan, basketball, he was suspended from his high school basketball team. And you see, he turned the disappointment into a motivation. You understand? You wouldn't say maybe if he was to lower his expectations on, you know, all that, then he will not get disappointment. You see, we have to understand that this is a natural occurrence. As much as it comes from a point of us expecting something to happen or us expecting someone to behave or do a certain thing for us, and maybe the person doesn't do it. You see, I don't have to lower my expectation for me not to, you know, or to avoid disappointment. It's just natural. I have to be myself. I have to be honest with myself. I have to be my real self, my authentic self. Yeah.
Why do you think disappointments affect us so much, you know, because they do affect us so deeply, and sometimes you look at the matter, it's not really as big, but just because it's a disappointment, then it becomes, you know, it affects you so deeply. And even as you get to answer that, I want to involve my viewers to get into this conversation. You are open to send in your views on matters disappointments. I would love to know, how do you personally deal with disappointment? When disappointment comes, because as we've put it over here, it is inevitable. It comes. In one way or another, you'll get disappointed, you know, in this life. So how do you go about dealing with disappointment when it comes to you? The number that you can get to talk to us on is 0716-103-301. 0716-103-301. Send us a WhatsApp message. You can even call us and we'll get to listen to you live. So let's get back to that, Evangelist. You know, why do disappointments hurt us so deeply?
So we could consider several factors, but it depends on the landscape we're looking at. If you look at it from the governmental spectrum, from society, from individual spectrum, we can look at it from different point of view. But let me look at it from a core point of view. Because most time, disappointment already hurts when it's from a governmental spectrum. Everybody expects it because, you know, government disappoint people. People may take it to heart, but they can deal with that. But most time when it's people that are closer to you, that's why it hurts. And one of the things that I've discovered that makes disappointment to help people so bad, and we can identify this in scripture, is that those who disappoint you, they have the way of rubbing it in your face. They have a way of just making that thing to sink into you. And we can see a story between, we can look at the story between Adam and God. When you look at Genesis from chapter 1 to 3, Adam did not give his wife name Eve. But after he disappointed God, in Genesis chapter 4, the Bible says Adam called his wife Eve and said she would be the mother of my children, or the word, just to paraphrase. Now, people who disappoint you, they have no tolerance. They can look into your face and rub it all in your face. And it's not just what they have done to you, it's the way they go about it. And so every time I read a text, when I'm talking about disappointment, I ask myself, the guy had been in this place with this lady. He didn't give her a name. When God told him, this is what's going to happen to you, he didn't even beg God. He just turned around and named the woman. The name will be Eve. In other words, God, it's okay. I will go with my wife and we're going to have some fun time. And that's what disappointment does. People who disappoint you, they have a way of coming. It's like taking a needle and sticking it into the heart, because they want to make sure that you are demobilized and you can arise up. And I don't know how much time I have to answer this, but I want to piggyback on something he said in terms of expectation. You see, he said something very key, that when you have an expectation, you don't lower it just because of other people. Because expectation, it should align with your capacity. It's almost like a building. Every building should have a design. And then every design of a building is determined by an architect. And so we need to identify, you need to identify who you are. You have a vision of yourself. You see, when you have a vision of yourself, I don't care what they throw at you, you're going to get up because of that vision. It's a core value that drives you. Even though you are disappointed, even though you feel frustrated, but you say to yourself, I got something to offer. Just the Michael Jordan situation. Michael Jordan knew that he had something to offer.
He kept it.
He kept going with that.
What, you know, why does it seem, or why do some people seem to bounce back very quickly, you know, after a disappointment, while for some they spiral completely and they even shut down, maybe self-destroy in one way or the other? What brings the distinction between I'm able to bounce back from this disappointment and I just don't know how to go about this?
One, I'd say if you're a person who you're able to bounce back from disappointment, then it means you're resilient enough to look at the disappointment from a point of, it's not a failure, it's not a mistake. You see, when a disappointment comes, one of the ways you're able to deal with it is accepting and acknowledging it. The moment you're disappointed by someone or disappointed by something, you have to accept it. After you accept it, you reflect, you don't react. You reflect, what are the lessons you will learn from this? You understand? After you reflect, you reframe the situation. And by reframing, what I mean is, you look at the situation and see, you see there's some disappointment that comes, and those disappointment pushes you to become much better from where you are. After you have reframed the situation, now you stay hopeful and you rebuild. Because when you get disappointment, it doesn't mean that's the end for you. So if you're a person who easily bounces back, then you understand all these 4 steps. 1, you accept and acknowledge the disappointment. 2, you reflect, you don't react. 3, you reframe the situation. Number 4, and you stay hopeful. If then you're a person who doesn't, or you're a person who actually gets demoralized, or feels so bad, or gets so stressed up when a disappointment happens, then you're a person who lacks what we call resilience. Or in short, I'd call it, I'd also relate disappointment with emotional intelligence. You understand? So then you need to understand, when you're disappointment, all that matters is what you do with that particular disappointment. Do you react or do you reflect before you react? You understand? So don't be the type of person who says, when I'm disappointment, I will feel so broken. I will, I will look at myself as someone who is not supposed to be in this world. No, it doesn't have to be necessarily that way. You have to look at the situation and accept the situation, because, you see, there are situations that are beyond your control. There are disappointments that come that are beyond your control. You see, when you're doing your best, let's say, for example, someone who's complaining that he or she doesn't have the money, but they are working, they are doing their best. They are waking up in the morning, every single morning, doing something, praying. They are hopeful about all that. You see, if you're that kind of person, and you keep on complaining, why don't I have this? Why do things happen this way? Why do I get disappointed? There are things that are beyond you. If you keep stressing on things that are beyond you, you see, I love, just to mention this, the serenity prayer. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And the wisdom to understand the difference. So you see, as much as disappointment comes in your life, or as much as disappointment comes in at whatever point, you need to understand, is it something you can change? Is it something that can propel you to become better? If it is, go for it. If it is not, then look at it from a point of, it is beyond my control. Then it means I can't do anything about it. As he said, the disappointment comes from God, from heaven. There are things you can't just control. There are things you can't just, as much as you're doing your best, the most important part is doing your best. You can't say that I don't have money, and you sleep, wake up at 11 a.m. and you don't do nothing. You don't even apply for jobs. You don't ask your friends to connect you to jobs and stuff like that. But as long as you're doing your best, that aspect of you saying that you don't have money won't be permanent. You understand? So as much as you have that hope for achieving something, hope has to come with you being resilient and pushing yourself a step further, one step at a time, towards achieving what you want to achieve. So you won't say that I have an expectation of achieving or getting the money, but I am not getting it. Ask yourself why. And you see the disappointments, Vivian, that come to educate you. You learn from them. You experience something, for example, in a relationship, in marriage, you learn from that particular situation. You understand? You won't lower your expectations because someone has treated you in a bad way and say, you know what, I will have to lower my expectation because...
This is how people are.
You understand? It doesn't have to be necessarily that way.
Yeah. And just from, picking up from that, one would say, maybe there's someone who's watching and they would feel like, it's always easier said than done. Like you can say it, on paper and writing that disappointment should not kill you and all of that. It's easier said than done because there are some that come and hit you so badly. So, just what are the ways in which you can be able to manage your disappointments? Are there tips that you can give us in how to go about managing your disappointments, bit by bit?
So I could look at three factors. The first thing I want to look at, I know we're talking about disappointment, but there's a key thing that we need to identify in the conversation. In as much as we want to deal with disappointment, we need to identify faulty expectations. A lot of people are disappointed because of faulty expectations. They have expectations that they do not even have the capacity for. If you want to, you got to be a finished product to attract finished product. You getting my point? Let me take it from the side of relationship. You cannot say to yourself, you want to marry a college graduate, and here you are, you're not prepared to even finish secondary school.
That's very true.
All right? You see, you got to be a product of vision that drive people to you. Just like I did mention earlier about an architect designing a building. The design, we're sitting in this building because we trust it. Someone designed it, and that building has a foundation. Let's just look at Matthew 7:24 to 27. I cannot read that. But Jesus gave this parable of two persons. All right, they both build their homes. One built his home on a solid foundation, and the next person built their home on the sinking sand. When you look at the both character, they had the same experience, but one survived. The Bible says that the rain came, the wind rose against it, and the wind beat against their home. The one with the lower foundation right? The wind knock it off. But the one with the solid foundation withstood the wind. Why? Because that person had a foundation that kept them going, even though they had the same experience, but they could survive it. So it is good. Now, why would I go to the market and buy an expired product? I don't want to go to the market to buy an expired product. I go to the market to spend my money to be able to buy a product of value, product that will bring value to me. So the first thing we got to deal with faulty expectation. If you do not want to be disappointed, do not create expectation that you cannot match up with. And that's the first thing. And now, other tips to deal with disappointment, I would also go back to the biblical perspective, because I want to see the way God dealt with disappointment, and that's how I deal with things when I'm disappointed. One of the things that I've observed and see about God dealing with disappointment, when you're disappointed about Satan, he took Satan from his presence. He took Satan from his presence.
Yeah.
All right? When Adam disappointed him, he took Adam from his presence. Now, doesn't mean that God did not interact with the animal, but God did it in such a way that he raised them. I don't want to use the word erase completely from the mind, but he created a distance at which he could deal with them. And then the next thing God did was he revisioned himself. He created a vision to really regain control. And we see that vision through Abraham all the way to his son Jesus. And so when you are disappointed, those who disappoint you, you got to learn to just take them from your presence. Because I know sometimes it's hard because it's family members, it could be kids, it could be that. You got to create a buffer. Something that create a little distance so that you know who this person is and what they have done and how you can deal with them. And then you got to go back on the drawing board and revision things to be able to deal with that.
All right, I'll have to cut this conversation short for a while as we head over for the nationwide KDF recruitment exercise, and we have the CS for Defense, that is Soipan Atuya, who is on standby, and she should be speaking right now. The KDF recruitment exercise should be happening. The pass out should be happening tomorrow, and there we have it. We have the CS on screen right now. Let's get to listen to that.
Influence the process by any party involved, be it parents, guardians, or candidates, will result in automatic disqualification and subsequent prosecution. The integrity of the process is therefore non-negotiable. Let me reiterate once again that recruitment into the KDF is free of charge. We do not ask for bribes, we do not take bribes, and we do not give bribes. Anyone doing any of these things is a criminal and should be treated as such. Any officer or staff found engaging in any form of malpractice will be dealt with decisively, while civilians equally attempting to buy their way into the forces will be prosecuted without exception. We want to urge Kenyans of goodwill, including members of the Fourth Estate, to please help us by exposing anyone asking for money in the name of helping anybody to secure a slot into the Kenya Defense Forces. And in this regard, we are working very closely with other government agencies, namely the National Police Service, the DCI, the ESCC, as well as the NIS, to ensure a fair, transparent, and credible process. Some of these partners, I'm happy, are represented here today. And this collaborative approach reinforces accountability and ensures the highest standards of integrity. In addition, parents, guardians, community, religious leaders, as well as the national government and county administrations have a vital role to play in this exercise. Their support in guiding our young people encouraging them to present themselves honestly, and reinforcing the values of discipline and integrity that the Kenya Defence Forces stands for is invaluable. Recruitment into the military is not only a national duty, but also a community responsibility, and we urge all of us to play their rightful role. To this end, I wish to spell out a number of guidelines that shall apply in the recruitment process. First, all candidates must adhere strictly to the published guidelines and present themselves honestly at the designated recruitment centers. Kenyans are urged to reject and report any attempts of bribery or any form of undue influence. Please note, recruitment shall only be done at the designated recruitment centers as published in the advert that has been running for a month. Secondly, candidates must exercise absolute honesty in presenting their identification documents and academic certificates. Rigorous verification will be conducted at every recruitment center in partnership with the Kenya National Examination Council, the National Police Service, and anyone found with forged documentation will face prosecution, not to mention instant disqualification. Beyond recruitment, identified potential recruits will undergo further processing and shall remain subject to continuous vetting throughout training and service in order to uphold the honor and trust vested in our military. All successful candidates shall be notified at the recruitment centers at the end of the exercise, and further instructions shall also be provided on the next steps. And just to join the Vice Chief of Defense Forces in stating that anything done before or after the stipulated timeline is out of step or illegal. Finally, I call upon the media to work with us in this exercise, to be vigilant watchdogs, expose malpractices, and continue sensitizing the public against fraud. Working in close partnership, we will safeguard and defend the fairness and credibility of this national recruitment, because a defense force built on integrity is the strongest shield for our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude my remarks this morning, on my own behalf and that of the Ministry of Defense, I extend our sincere appreciation to all those who have worked tirelessly and diligently in preparation for this recruitment exercise, including our partner state agencies. I also thank the media for their vital role in keeping the public accurately informed. To the youth of Kenya, I call upon you to step forward with courage and conviction. Joining the Kenya Defence Forces is not merely about employment. It is an honorable calling, a chance to serve our nation, defend its sovereignty, and secure a prosperous future for generations to come. As we begin this recruitment exercise today, I wish all recruits the very best. And want to urge them to approach the exercise with integrity, determination, and confidence in their own abilities. The ministry stands with you and looks forward to welcoming those who rise to the challenge with honor. With these remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I now declare the Kenya Defence Forces 2025 nationwide recruitment exercise officially launched. Thank you And may God bless you all. Santeni.
There we have it. That is the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, CS Soipana Tuya, and she has officially launched the nationwide recruitment of the Kenya Defense Forces. Now, let's get back to our conversation right here in studio, whereby we were talking about disappointments. That is what we have been looking at and trying to look at ways in which we can deal with disappointments. Now, there's something I would love to get to know, specifically from the psychologist.
Okay.
So, Anthony, you know, does our childhood or how we've been brought up, you know, get to influence how we are able to deal with disappointments?
Absolutely. Because you see, let me give an example. If you have been brought up in a family whereby also what you say to your kid, for example, when you tell your child or when you are told as a child that you are a smart child, you are smart, you can do it. So it means, yes, it's a good thing to tell your child that, but you need also to tell your child you are smart, but you need to also be open to them that at some point in life they'll have to be open to disappointment and failing. So you see, when you tell this child, just leave it at, maybe you just tell the child you are a smart child, wewe uko smart, wewe you are a sharp boy, you are good.
So we are leaving no room for failure at all.
Growing up, this person will have that challenge to accept disappointment because they have always been, it has always been given to them. You see, the expectations were always met because when they perform well, they are told they are smart. When they do something nice, when they do something good, they are told you are doing good. So you see, when they grow up, they have not been prepared enough or to be open to disappointments and, you know, failures and stuff like that. So our childhood experiences and what also our parents tell their children really influences how this child grows up and how open they are when they are disappointed. Because it's important for parents to understand, if you have a child right now and you're watching me and you're watching us, you need to prepare your child early enough. As much as they're doing good, tell them, yes, you're doing good in something, but it doesn't always have to necessarily work like that. At some point you're going to be disappointed, at some point you're going to fail. You see, this child will now grow up open-minded on expecting whatever outcome that comes, because the challenge we're having as adults is we are always, one, we are having we put high expectations on some things or some people, and when those expectations are not met, they demoralize us, they demotivate us, they, you know, put us or make us sad. Now, you see, you have to prepare your child early enough. So our childhood experiences really, really have an impact to how open we are, how open-minded we are to disappointment as we grow to become adults.
Yeah, so even for parents and guardians who are looking after the little ones right now, maybe this is something that should start being instilled from an early age.
Exactly.
So that by the time you're growing up, disappointments don't really put you down like that. You're able to bounce back up from it. And I want to borrow from that. There's a conversation that was happening sometime online, whereby we were talking about, you know, where do the top performers, or where are our top performers right now in life? You know, those who are the best in KCSE, the best in KCPE, the best, you know, first class honors. And someone was saying, sometimes some of these people, it gets so hard for them to live in the outside, you know, the way we are told, so ukimaliza shule, you're outside now. Live in that outside world whereby, you know, you're not always number one, and you're used to that. And this can be disappointment that really brings you down to the point where you're beaten out completely. So
it can actually happen like this. You see, these people who are top performers, who have been always topping in school, primary school, secondary school, in university. Now, it is just simple as, you know, I've ever met, this is practical. I've met someone, and this person told me that there's a time they were boarding a public matatu, and an expectation they had, or they have, is they have to sit near the driver at the front, because basically in KCPE they got 420 marks, in KCSE they got an A-, in university they graduated with first class honors. So they always have to, even private cars, they have to sit in front, at the front. So that day, they met someone who was really wanted to sit at the front, and it was an issue. And the person told me, I had that challenge of accepting this person to actually sit in the front, because you see, all through my life, I've never had that point where I am behind. I'm just always ahead. I'm always in front. So you see, it can have an impact. It can just be as mere as that. So unapatana na mtu mumengangana kupigania hiyo kiti ya mbele ya dereva. But in essence, you don't understand the reason why this person is doing it. Because maybe hiyo itam demoralize, and such people now give themselves the pressure. You see, there's a person who has been using public means na hizi keti mbele. Sasa itampatia the pressure to actually buy a car so that they can be the one now driving the car. So you see, that becomes unrealistic pressure.
Yes. So now maybe just to try and look at, the difference between temporary setback and redirection, because they say sometimes not all disappointments are bad disappointments. One of the, it could be, there's this saying that I like to use, whereby it says things happen for you, they don't happen to you. So try look at things that, okay, this has happened, so how is it supposed to change me in one way or the other? So this brings me to that question that I've just asked, the difference between this is a temporary setback and this is redirection. I should change everything, I should take a different route.
So it also has to do with the person viewpoint of life. It depends on how you view it. Because what could be temporary for someone could be a life everlasting impact to another person. And so, but let's just take it as it may be, that something is temporary and something could be permanent. The fact of the matter, I want to divine this, I want to address this from a vision perspective. Because vision is everything. Any man without a vision, you have no drive. You're not going anywhere. That's
true.
Because, to be honest with you, men that have fallen and men who rose up, something drove them from the floor.
That's true.
When you sit in a moving car and you take that car from the parking lot and you get into that car, you assume responsibility. You are telling yourself, as I drive this car, I'm aware that there are red lights on the road. I'm aware that I'm going to a traffic. I cannot fly because I can hit someone. I cannot stop abruptly on the road because someone can hit me. I have to be focused on my view mirrors because I can't just do an essay because someone else might be coming. So you assume responsibility. And that's where vision comes from. If I know who I am and what I want to achieve based on my definition of life, because my definition of life could be different from the next person. So based on my definition of life, I can approach everything either at a temporary perspective or I can see it as a permanent crash. And so you have to define yourself based on what you want to achieve.
That's true.
In life. And so a disappointment can be a temporary stuff for you if you can visualize what have happened, rebuild your expectation, design it. I tell you for a fact, I have been knocked down many times, but every time I've seen myself knocked down, I've always recreated. And most time I'm excited I was knocked down because it gave me a broader picture. You did mention that I'm a film director. Yes. Most time when I'm on movie set and we're shooting, and maybe the light broke or the camera to do it. Of course, this film are low budget film, or maybe the cast have not come or something else happened. Nobody knows my script. I wrote the script. People know the people only know what they view on the screen. So until it gets on the screen, no one knows my script. And so we have a common saying, the same pen that wrote it, the same pen can stretch it out. And so I go back into my script and I revision my script. If I had two persons in the house that should have had a conversation, I can redesign my scene and I do a monologue. And I do a monologue. Once you have been a two-person interaction can become a phone call. So it's revisioning yourself. Let me add this to the conversation. You know, Africa, to be very honest with you, we are very resilient people. I had the privilege to experience life in Africa and experience life in the US. I I tell you this truth, and I had the privilege to work in the mental health setting. So working with different professional people, helping people with mental health issues. I'm telling you, one of the challenges that I'm seeing with people who are broken down and disappointed and all that is the childhood trauma. A lot of people, it's so difficult for them to disconnect themselves from the childhood trauma. They will always reflect for what their mom did to them, what their father did to them, what their father was not in the home, their mom was not in the home. It's almost like they built a wall. And they have layers to the wall. And it's difficult for them to disconnect from those walls. And so if you want to break out from disappointment to see it from a temporary perspective or a permanent perspective, you should redefine your vision. You should know who you are and what you want to achieve. You can't allow any circumstance to knock you down because the world is brutal. I will end with this. We came into an open space. The world is an open space. And this world is yearning for people who will impact it. Who are you? Are you born to impact? If you are born to impact, then get up and run the race. But if you want to sit there and complain all the time, after 10, 20 years, all we will see is your story of disappointment. But if you want to look back and say, I was disappointed, I went there, but this is who I am today, then people celebrate your legacy.
Absolutely.
All right. So as you put it, nothing changes if nothing changes. So you need to work towards changing your situation always, no matter what. I love that. So as we almost come to a close of this conversation, maybe what are some things that you feel people misunderstand about disappointments?
What people misunderstand? One thing that people misunderstand is that disappointments always have to lead to failure. That's the first thing. And you need to understand that just because you have experienced a disappointment at a particular area, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. You see, I'll just say what he said. It just depends on who you are and how you look at yourself. Because you see, who you are, your authentic self, how you look at yourself, really tells on what next. If you're a person to just sit down, do nothing, no resilience, no, you're not pushing yourself towards doing something, then that's how your life is going to be. You're going to just tell us your story of how disappointed you have been. And it's not that you are not in a position to do something about it. It's just that you are not able to. It's not about even ability. Ni wewe tu huko unataka kujitoa from that comfort zone. Because you see, one thing about disappointment, you cannot say that you're disappointed about something and you're living in your comfort zone. You know, comfort zone is what kills all of us. You just can't say, I will remain stagnant, I won't move. It doesn't matter what you do. In your workplace, in your relationships setup, you won't say that now just because you guys are having challenges in your marriage, you will always have to address the challenge all through in your marriage. There are people who are here, they are couple therapists. You can take it to couple therapy. If you're a person who really, you have seen that disappointments really put you down, you can do therapy yourself. You see, we have to also understand that you need somebody to actually help you in, because you see disappointment, there are people who are really affected by disappointment. There are people who really feel as if they're less of a person. And as I said, childhood trauma. If it comes from that point of childhood trauma, then address it in therapy. Get someone you can talk to, get a professional, someone who can be able to be empathetic, not just sympathetic with your situation, because sympathy won't help you. You need someone who will be able to listen, to understand on how you're feeling, because one thing you need to understand about disappointment, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel frustrated, but you see what you do at that level is what matters. So I'll just tell people, I'll finish by saying this. In order for you, or what's the strategies you can use when you're disappointed? One, and I'll repeat what I just said. One, accept it, no matter how difficult it is. We normally say ni ngumu, lakini kitu yote ni ngumu ni possible. Whatever is hard, it is possible to try. Accept and acknowledge it. Once you have accepted that it's okay, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling sad. The second one, you reflect on how you know, what you're learning, or what is your take on this particular disappointment. So reflect, don't react. After that, you reframe the situation. Reframing the situation means, like, you see the disappointment that comes and moves you to become a better person. Don't just remain there and you see maybe hii disappointment haikupeleki mahali. After you reframe, you stay hopeful. So for me, if you work with those four strategies, then I believe when you are faced with any point, or at any point you're faced with disappointment, you are able to maneuver
and get out of it. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us for this conversation. It was a pleasure having you here, and I'm sure that whoever, you know, the people that are watching us back at home, they have gotten to pick a thing or two from it that will enable them to be able to bounce back from any disappointment, from any setbacks that comes their way, because they are inevitable. They will come your way. So you need to learn how to get out of it. My colleagues are on the other side. I can see Victor Olo, I can see Mike Megwe. I don't know, Mike, are you open to share with us how you deal with disappointments? All right, Victor, let me begin with Victor.
Mike has never been disappointed.
He's never been disappointed. Lucky him. God's right.
Mike has never been. I know when Mike is disappointed. There's a way he behaves.
It's a lie.
But I think that is a very good discussion there. I think disappointment is part and parcel of life. And sometimes I call them circumstantial disappointments. When you basically wanted to have something but it doesn't go your way. For example, you travel somewhere and then you expect to have a 5-star treatment, and then all of a sudden you find a 2-star treatment. That is circumstantial disappointment. But how do you work and recover from that? I think we have a lot of expectations, over expectations, which is quite human anyway. But then now, if you have got a lot of expectation that it doesn't go your way, first of all, if you ask me, you keep calm the way they've said, keep calm, appreciate what you have a lot of gratitude on what you have. Having in mind also that you are just in the right path. Probably it feels like you are going the wrong direction, but remember, all directions probably might be the right direction. So for me, how do I deal with disappointments? I take as it is. I mean, it was not mine. It was not meant to be that way. So that's how I deal with it.
All right.
Mike.
And sometimes, you know, disappointment may come from something that you are doing, but it did not give. But you should not see it as failure. Actually, you need to see it as a learning experience. Because not everything will go your way. But seeing that as a learning experience, that I think makes things better. And also, there's a panelist who said talking to someone. That is very important. If you feel disappointed and you need to let it out, someone who is supportive can listen to you, and maybe his or her words will be very pivotal in you deciding the direction that you want to take.
All right.
So I think disappointment. Have you been disappointed, Vivian?
Of course. What do you mean? We all get disappointed.
How did you deal with that?
To be honest, I just try and live in the moment. You know, I won't let it really, you know, affect me trying to overthink how are things going to be tomorrow, the day after. I just live in the moment, look at the situation that I am in. What has disappointed me? Is it a person? Is it this particular situation that is going on? And then after I identify it, I agree. I allow myself to feel the disappointment. I won't run away from it. I just allow myself to feel it. If I need to cry, trust me, I'm gonna cry. Sometimes I'm a crybaby. So if I need to cry, I will cry and I will let it out. And from there, I'll just let it be and try look at the way forward from there. And also try to look at, you know, is this supposed to be a redirection for me? If it is something that I was really hoping for and it didn't work out, maybe try look the other side. Maybe this is what God wants you to actually do and not the one that you were really pushing for yourself. So as my guests today put it, it's all about you allowing yourself, like, work towards it. Accept it and work towards it. And nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you decide to sit in your disappointment, trust me, you're going to sit on it. And it's not going to be good. So work towards it and get out of that disappointment. Bounce back. We all go through disappointment. So you can be able to bounce out of it. If you're watching us right now and there's something that is really beating you down at the moment, you are able to get out of that situation.
Which is very true, true, Vivian, because sometimes we get so much engrossed with achieving long-term goals such that we forget to live in the moment. Life happens every day. Goals will be there to be achieved. Whether you're disappointed or not, life must continue. But when you're disappointed, learn the best way to deal with it. Speak about it, look for someone to help you. I think you'll be good to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about we finalize today's show on that note? Thank you so much to each and every one of you who has been tuned in. This is Good Morning Kenya, and this is how we do it each and every weekday morning. So always ensure to tune in to this very informative and educative show. Right now, we want to leave you with a feature known as or dubbed Echoes of the Past. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Goodbye. We're talking about Swahili Soul, and this is what was happening at the Allianz front stage.
We feature a Nairobi-born singer and songwriter. She's also a performing artist. I'm talking about Zaituni.
Let me take you to this play that was taking place at the Kenya National Theatre. That is none other than Bildad M. Kagia.
Who actually took up arms and went into the forest to fight for our land?
And on our spotlight artist tonight, we feature a true legend of our time. I'm talking about the one and only Nyashinsky.
It's magic, the way you light up a room with your elegance when you arrive.
Got the fear of missing out? Want to keep up with all the latest entertainment news and latest celebrity gossip? From the latest rumors to popping events to the newest fashion trends, here is where you get all the tea or juice when it comes to entertainment, and you get it served on time. All that and so much more on Grapevine every single Monday only on KBC Channel 1. Remember, if you did not see it on Grapevine, then it most probably never happened.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
The Kaloleni Social Hall, the home of Kenya Prisons, a boxing team where many champions have emerged, including the current Africa Boxing Union middleweight champion Rayton Okwiri.
Naenda kupigana na Mwamerika ambaye ako na fight 9
ameshinda zote 9 through knockout. Najua ni opponent mtough, but kulingana na experience yangu na training yangu na ile napokea hapa na watu wangu wa prisons, najua venye nitamhandle, manake unajua mara mob nimekuwa tu nikitrain hapa nikienda ngambo na bado nawashinda tu, so na prefer kutrain hapa, manake hapa prisons ndio wananijua zaidi kushinda watu wengine wote, manake hao wamenijua nikiwa mdogo mpaka sasa hivi.
The sergeant was however raised up in Mombasa by his mom, whom he adores, and as she struggled to raise them up, he made a promise to make her life better when he made it in life.
Boxing nilianzia huko Mombasa, Makande, na Makande prisons wakaniona, wakaniajiri, nimechezea national team kwa miaka zaidi ya 15. So after kutoka Olympics niliamua kutana professional, ndio mpaka sasa niko huko kwa pro, na nafikiri so far kwa pro nafanya vizuri zaidi. Mimi nimelelewa na mama, I'm a single mother. So ile maisha nilikuwa nikiangalia hivi na nikiangalia pale nilitoka, nasema ni Mungu, na Mungu alinipatia talent. Kwa talent yangu nimeweka mamangu vizuri, nimemlia nyumba, she's comfortable. Hata juzi tulikuwa hivyo, alikuwa kwa nyumba yake, anaamka kwake. So boxing mimi boxing imenifanya kila kitu. Ile ninasema kama mchezaji, na hope nitaendelea ni achieve more, manake hii ndio talanta yangu ile Mungu alinipatia.
And he did thanks to a boxing career that saw him become a champion in the Kenya Amateur Boxing Championship and the Continental Circles as well before he turned pro.
Gold yangu ya kwanza nilicheza under 20 Anoka Games, nilishinda gold, ambayo hiyo michezo ya Anoka Games ilifanyika Nairobi 2006. 2007 tukaenda bingwa wa mabingwa, nikashinda gold. Nikakuja 2011 kaenda All African Games, nikashinda bronze. 2014 nikaenda Sri Lanka, nikashinda gold. 2016 nikaenda Africa Championship ile ya qualifier, Olympic qualifier, nikashinda gold. Ikaweza kunifanya nikafuzu, nikaenda Olimpiki. Na pia hizi gold za bingwa nimeshinda kama gold 3 zikifuatana. Nimecheza bingwa mara 3 na zote nimeshinda gold. Na nimekuwa best boxer hapa Kenya kama mara 4 zikifuatana. Na pia nimewahi kuwa sportsman of the year, runners up 2014. Siaya Award. Nilikuwa runners up.
His highest achievement as an amateur was an Olympic Games qualification after boxing his way to the gold in the Africa Championship in the welterweight to reach the quarterfinals in the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio.
Kwa Olympic, mimi nasema tulijaribu sana, manake unakumbuka mimi nilienda Olympic nilipoteza quarterfinal. Ya manake ni watu wengi ambao sana hawajai kufika hiyo stage ya quarters. Manake Olympic inakuwa ni tough, ni best of the best. Especially ile ya 2016 qualify ilikuwa naweza sema qualify ilikuwa tough sana. Unapata wale walikuwa na qualify, they are the best. So mimi nasema kushinda na kwenda mpaka quarter final ilikuwa ni step moja kubwa sana. Na wote ukiangalia ile pigano langu nikipoteza quarter final, nilishinda na rank number 1 in the world. Ukiangalia vizuri ile pigano mimi nilishinda, lakini venye tu maybe waliona sasa huyu ni underdog na yeye alikuwa kana jina, yeye ni world champion, so wakaweza kumtuza, wakaweza kumpea ushindi, lakini sikufa morale. Nikaamua kutana professional, na nafikiri kwa professional sasa bado nafanya vizuri zaidi.
Nicknamed Boom Boom, the Southpaw decided to turn pro after that to record his first win in Nairobi as his fans cheered him on. He later won the vacant ABU title but lost at the IBF bout in South Africa.
Nikiwa professional, nimeshinda jamaa wa Venezuela, nimeshinda wa Tanzania. Juzi nimecheza na Mkongo, nimeshinda Mkongo hii ABU. Na juzi pia nikaenda kucheza international ile ya South Africa, pia nilishinda na hiyo nikipata injury nilikuwa nacheza na Mkongo. Nafikiri hiyo ndio Mkongo the best huko kwao. So naweza sema nimeachieve a lot kwa boxing. Na live according to my dream, manake nikiwa mdogo nikaenda boxing, nilikuwa nasema one day nataka niende Olympic, one day nataka nivae mkanda wa Afrika wa dunia, na hizo zote naweza sema I'm living kwa ile dream yangu. Nilikuwa na dream nikiwa mtoto nikianza sports.
Once a beaten, twice shy, and that's why he's aiming for nothing short of his first major world title in the near future.
Ile kitu naangalia dream yangu sasa kubwa ni kupata ile mikanda kubwa ya World Championship. Sasa mimi niko na mkanda wa Afrika, mimi ni bingwa wa Afrika. Sasa ile belt naangalia sasa ni ile belt kubwa. Hizo WBC, IBF za ulimwengu mzima. Hiyo ndio target yangu. So kwa hivi sasa niko na miaka 36, najipatia target mpaka 40 years, then from hapo kama nitakuwa na nguvu naweza endelea kidogo. Kama ndaona mavijana wameanza kunilemea, I will call it a day. Manake unajua michezo pia umri pia ina hiyo mata sana. So hakuna venye ndafika 40 years mavijana waanze kuwa wananishinda. No. Nitasema tu ndawachia.
Is all grateful for Kenya Prisons for giving him a chance and support to pursue his dreams alongside others who are inspired by his achievements.
Kenya Prisons nashukuru sana kwanza, wamenishikilia sana tangu nianze boxing. Niliandikwa mwaka 2006, ninasema sasa niko na 16 years in service. Na naweza sema mimi I'm one of those players wa Prison wale wameperform the best in history ya boxing ya Prison. Manake nimekuwa tangu nianze kucheza 2008 nikaenda kucheza ligi, sikuwahi poteza game yote mpaka siku ile nikatoka hapa. Nikaenda kuchezea Prisons, kwenda kuwakilisha, ilikuwa tu ni ushindi. So naweza sema Prison pia wamenisaidia, wamenipatia na pia nawashukuru, wanipatia chance niweza enda professional na bado nime-maintain job yangu katika Kenya Prisons.
It has not been an easy ride, but the boxing champion believes that determination is the key to success.
Ile kitu naweza waambia mavijana wale wanakuja, discipline, hard work and dedication is the key to success. Hii kwa avoid mambo mengi ya kukaa mtaani, kujihusisha kwa madawa, unaona? Better come kwa gym, train, utapata results. Kama ama vijana, kuna mavijana kama wawili hapa ambao wameshinda trials wa junior, au wanaenda junior huko nini. Hao wote walikuwa tu hapa, wakikuja hapa wadogo nilikuwa nawapatia morale nikiwatrainisha. Sasa angalau kwa national team. So nafikiri mimi ni role model wa watu wengi, na watu wengi wananiangalia mimi, manake pia unajua mimi nimetoka chini kabisa. Watu wengi wa Mombasa kule wananiangalia mimi, manake wananijua mimi pale nilitoka. Unaona, mpaka sasa wakiniangalia sasa hivi wanaona hakuna kitu kiwezekani kwa hii dunia. As long as uko focused, kila kitu happen. Wengi hata kama vijana wakina Riziki hawa, mimi ndo na mentor mimi. Wananiangalia mimi. Ukiangalia hata hapa kwa gym, mimi ndo nawasaidia kwa mazoezi, ile experience niko nayo, manake pale nimefika, nimeenda training program mingi tofauti nje, najua venye watu wana train, najua mtu anafaa train hivi, akule hivi, diet yake, apumzike, unaona? So wengi mko nao hapa na motivate venye tutaishi na venye kutrain. Ile kitu ninasema vijana ni wakuwe focused, wa avoid madawa za kulevya, wakuje gym, wa train na gym italipa. Mimi na believe hivyo, okay? Hard work yulipa kila siku. Hakuna venye utasweat kila siku then isilipe. Hard work pays. Hiyo ni zambia tu mavijana. Zambia mavijana wengi wale wanakuja wasione tu ati tumeona ukweli ni pro alitani pro, no. Naweza waambia kwanza wacheze amateur, waive kabisa. Na hata hiyo wakiiva, waking'ara, wanaweza pata job. Ukishapata job, ukishapata kitu yako ya kujishikilia mahali, na unaweza turn pro. Pro ni kama ni kama side hustle yako. Unaona? Ikuje isikue, lakini as long as wewe uko wapi, uko job, unajua hata ukivunjika mkono ama ukipata injury bado utaendelea na kupata mapato.
Rayton Akwiri, the current ABU middleweight champion, is still yearning for more titles and will surely make it happen with that glint in his eyes with those feet of steel.
Mwaka huu nitasema at least umekuwa fair kwangu, manake so far nimepata fight moja ambayo ilikuwa ni fight kubwa sana, ilikuwa ni IBF International ambayo nilipigana huko South Africa. Ingawaje lose round ya 7, manake nilipata jeraha kwa mkono wangu wa kulia. So nikawacha round ya 7, but unajua saa nyingine unajua kutoa excuse, I style kutoa excuse, unajua ni ushindani, unajua asikubali kushinda si mshindani. So nilipata injury, nirudi home, nikajua mistake zangu zilikuwa hapa na pale. So nimework on that. Sasa hii na prepare kwenda kupigana huko Amerika.
hadi umekasirisha mama.
Pesa nazivuna, ndoto za timia.
Ni mimi mlikuwa mnaongelelea? Endeleeni.